Good evening. Can you hear me?
Hello, good evening. Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, sir.
How are you?
Good. How about you?
I think your voice is too low.
Is it? I think I changed the laptop today.
Okay. Yeah, now
Is it better?
it's better, but it's still low. Maybe you
Okay.
can be close to the mic or something.
How's it better?
Yeah, it is better.
Okay. I think I have to just sit next to the mic. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So this is Shakil, right?
Yes, sir.
Shakil, good. Shakil, how are your labs going? Any confusions so far?
No, actually, from yesterday till today, I didn't do anything. I will be doing after today, whatever it is.
Okay, okay, yeah.
All the previous labs we have done it, but yeah, actually, the last one, which was scale set,
Yeah,
I have to still yet to do again.
right. So I think with the scale set, the only issue was if you just provide the public IP address and that's it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, your other screenshots were good.
yeah, yeah. And then you said I should be trying adding a hard disk to that virtual machine, the scale set. I'll try that.
Okay.
And then I think yesterday's lab, whatever, like I think in the class I did with you, I have to do it again because, and did you upload the video? I don't think so, right?
I did, I did.
Yeah, on WhatsApp or where in the
It's
Google,
in the WhatsApp group. No, so the link is in the WhatsApp group and
uh-huh,
the video is in the Zoom. So, and there is a passcode too.
I see.
So if you want
Okay,
to check your WhatsApp group, it's there.
I'll check.
Okay, just waiting for a few more people to join in, and I'm going to start in 2 minutes.
I see that you sent that link. Is it not possible, like, like before we used to upload it to the Google Drive and I was able to download it from there. And once you download it, then even like offline, I can just access that video.
Oh, okay, the download. Sure, sure. Uh, yeah, I will do that for sure.
Okay, thank you. Because usually sometimes like, I'm at a place where there's no internet access, but if the videos are downloaded, I can simply just go through that.
Okay.
Hello, Brother
So
Adnan.
we are doing the networks
Yes.
today.
Yes, please go ahead.
We are going the networking today.
Uh, what is that? Can you repeat that, please?
We are doing the networking today.
No, no, we are continuing storage and then we'll finish network.
I see.
I mean, we start network after storage.
I see.
Brother Adnan,
Yes, Sayed, how are you?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah. Thank you. I just have a suggestion, if you don't mind, for everyone. Last year, 2 classes, 3 classes that we have covered quite a few stuff, and I was wondering, while we are doing this, maybe if we can have one like a document, like a shared document in our Google Drive that Brother Amin shared with us, where we list out the things that we are discussing. In basically listing all the things that we are discussing. For example, yesterday we went over storage, and in storage we went over like file sharing and blob and all those kind of stuff, right? Yeah, similar to what you have here, right? But we don't
Right.
have access to this list. So if there's a Google Drive that we have all access to, then we can just like refer to it and go back and do our own research,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
maybe
for
find.
sure, for sure. I will
Yeah.
share these slides in. We already have a drive. but I didn't have the time to, upload. But today I'm gonna upload everything, the previous
Yeah.
slides and the videos as well. So for now, yesterday's video is there, but it's in Zoom. So I will upload in that share, and I'll share it with you. So you're in the WhatsApp group, right?
Yeah, I'm in WhatsApp group. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, very
So
good.
so if you have that one class document, like one document that is our like class, like a classroom kind of a thing, where we have like we list out, okay, September 4th, these are things we covered, and these are the recorded. This is the recorded video link, and this is are the labs that you guys need to do. Then we can just keep like I mean referring to the same document, because as we progress week after week, this is gonna just build up and build up, and everything will be all over. So
Yeah,
if you
that is for sure. So normally what I do is, number one, this is so the one document that you see on screen. This is
yes,
these are
yes,
the notes. Okay.
yes,
So I
absolutely,
have
yeah.
day one notes, day two notes, day three notes. So I'm gonna upload these documents plus the
Yeah,
slides and plus the videos.
perfect, perfect. Yeah, that will be
Okay.
really good. Yeah,
And
you can just put
also
the link.
I'm gonna upload the dumps for
Yeah,
everyone else. I think you have already finished exam 103.
that is correct. Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
good.
So, yeah,
Okay,
so
that's
like, I mean, and like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's a
so
good
like,
suggestion.
yeah.
Right.
You already passed the exam 103?
Yes, he did.
Yes,
Wow.
alhamdulillah,
When?
yeah. About 2 weeks back.
Oh, okay, before the classes start. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I would encourage everyone to go for the exam as well, because without the certification, nobody is going to let you touch the cloud.
Yeah, nobody will entertain you.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
103 is expiring end of this month. Just or is sorry, it's already expired. It's already expired. So now we like it's 104 now.
but you can still take the exam till the end of this month, 30th September.
No, no, no.
Now
I don't think so.
I'll go for 104. Why should I go for 103 when it's expiring?
Uh,
It doesn't mean anything expiring. Like it's still valid for 2 years. Like if you do it today or if you do 103 or 104, it's just that they change a couple of modules, and they do this all the time, right? So they just change few things and they call it new code. Similarly, AZ300, AZ301 is also expiring end of this. What do you call it? End of this month, and then after that it will be AZ303 and 304.
right.
Yeah, so 31st was last there. If you see, the exam retired on August 31st.
Oh, it is retired. Okay,
Yeah,
this
so if you
one is
scroll,
retired, but the architect exams are still valid till this end of
X,
this month.
that is right. Yeah, so if you scroll down, you cannot schedule the exam. Like if you
Right,
scroll down,
right, right.
you
Yeah,
cannot
this is
schedule this.
gone. Okay.
So yeah.
So, okay, guys, everyone, let's start. So first thing is that everyone should go for the exam 104 and start preparing. The dumps will be available. The dump will be shared with everyone in the Google Drive, and I'll share the link here as well.
Exam dumps are already there in the thing.
In the Google Drive?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I saw the file. It's I saw the questions and everything. It's there.
Okay. Okay, very good. So guys, continuing from yesterday, we were working with the storage, and the storage is a very important part of Azure Cloud. We started with understanding the cloud concepts, and then we went through compute service of Azure, and now we are in storage. And the topics that has been covered already is Azure Portal Environment, subscription, resource hierarchy, and then Azure Compute building blocks, VM implementation, VM availability, and scale set. So this is the build. These are the building blocks. These are the services actually that are offered by Microsoft. So a virtual machine, whenever we create a virtual machine, it has OS disk and data disk, and then we can install extensions as well. So far, everybody, I think everybody should have tried creating a VM, and also extensions are normally used in the real environment, but you can select a free extension and use it. But one extension that is always there is called Diagnostics Extension. So that is by default, but it's not, you cannot see that when you're creating the VM, what it does, this does the basic monitoring, and detailed monitoring can be done from log analytics. We can back up the VMs, and we have so for high availability, we have VM scale sets, availability sets, we have containers within infrastructure as a service. We can do auto scaling. So the thing here is practical and practical. So which means that without practical, this knowledge won't be without practical, this knowledge won't last long. So, okay, so Lenovo iPhone. So guys, is there a possibility that everyone can log in with their name, or normally when you log in, it doesn't ask for the name? So, uh, so, so Lenovo's iPhone, if you can let me know your name, I can refer you to your name. And you're asking a question, do we have dumps for 104? It is in the drive. And then, okay, exams are not shared. So, so after this training, after today's session, I will see that if it is there. And Ikramullah is saying I'm disconnecting from here and joining from. Okay, okay, that's fine. Uh, I think that's Polly. Okay, everyone. So we've been through this, and I'm gonna go into. So we did the review for this yesterday, before yes, I mean in the last lecture as well. So we started with storage, and storage is planning storage, implementing storage, managing storage, and backing up storage and monitoring. So in this chapter, we are going to go through all this. What is a storage? It's a secure account that gives you access to the services in Azure Storage. It provides this unique namespace for the storage resource. Every storage account in Microsoft has unique name. So yesterday we went through the whiteboard session as well. So keeping that in mind, what is a storage account? Storage account is a disk. So whenever we are working in Microsoft Azure, all of the services require a storage. We create a VM, storage account is made. We create app service, storage account is made. So storage, and when we can use storage account for file shares. We also use storage account for containers, queues, and tables. So quickly skimming over this information, so I'm just going to read over the slides because we have that basic understanding of storage. So that I'm reading through the slides so that we don't miss out anything. Unique names across all existing storage account names in Azure. Now, unique name of the storage account is required because this is a public DNS names. Public DNS names basically means that these are the names that are used in public networks. So the name has to be unique, and it has to be lower small letters, and then the URL, it also creates a URL, location, affinity groups. We will go through this replication, LRS, GRS, and ZRS. We discussed that a little bit. So containers, so the four types, one of the four types of storage types is number one, containers, which are blob storage. And blob storage, containers of unstructured data. And then so the four services that are available under storage type is container, table, queues, and file. So yesterday we learned about these, and today we are going to work with these as well. We will create a storage, we will create a table and see how does it look like. We will look at the queue as well, and then we will work. Yesterday we created a file share and we mounted it in one of the VM as well. So in the container there is two types of blobs. Since it is blob, it is number one is block blobs, second one is page blobs. So it's variable in size, block blobs, and optimized for large blobs. So when we create a container, and we are basically we need to upload within the container. So you can think of a container as a FTP site, or a container is not like a file share. I mean, it seems like a file share. Functionality is exactly the same. We create file share to basically use it as a place where we can store documents in the file share. But file share can be mounted on disk. File share can be used as a drive once it is mounted. But containers are just a link, or you can think of a container as a website. So once we create a container, other people can only access a container through a link. So once we can create a container in Azure, container will look like, so within the cloud, container will look like a folder, and even file share will look like a folder. So this is a file share and this is a container. But the important thing about a container, we need to know that this can be connected to a VM as a drive. So, and this can be mounted on a VM, but this container, this will appear as a website. This will appear as a website link. So to a user, it will appear as a web link. Now, where is container? Containers can be used with websites. So a container can be a place where, when the website is made, when we are working with a website, in the website there are images, there are videos. So this can be a resource for images and videos. So all of these can be stored here, and they can be referred through a link and used in the website. So it's more like a FTP site. It's not actually an FTP site, but it's more like an FTP site. So if you ever worked with the FTP site, so both are folders, both are storage, but containers are more for storing information and connecting from the link. Whereas file shares are just storage location that can be mounted on the VMs. And within container, there are two types of data we can store. Number one, blobs, which is simply large files. So if you're planning to upload, so you create a container. So we can create a container called images. If we create a container called images, and you're planning to upload a large file size, let's say 200 MB or 300 MB, or maybe 1 terabyte, or maybe 2 or 3 gigs. So it's better to use a blob. And for the page, so second is page blobs, which is 512 bytes in size and optimized for random read and write. And this type of container is used for log files, or anything of this type where there is more and random read and write. So there is more and random read and write. Now, where do you see this option? We will create a container again today, and we will find these options. Now, what is the big difference between page blobs and block blobs? Page blob is when you create a block blobs, then the read and write is set up accordingly. So let's say I need to upload a file that is 300 GB in size. So information will be all copied in the shape of block. So all of the read and write from the container to the end user will be optimized for large files. Whereas in page blobs, it is optimized for small blocks or small bit of information, so that it can be very, very fast. So that's the difference. Can you store large files in page blobs? Yes, you can store large files in page blob, but then it will be a bit slow. The read and write will be slow because these are large files. You need bigger blocks, and these are smaller files, smaller information that is traveling from end user to uh, to the server. So block blobs upload large files from the Azure, fast upload and high throughput. And page blobs read and write data using random IO access patterns. For example, Azure VMs use page balls to store VHDs. So these are paging file. If you have ever heard of paging file in server. So basically this is that, or swap files that is working, they're mostly used for logs or memory swap information. So basically for interviews and for in general, just remember that block blobs are for large files, and it creates large blocks of information, and that is used to communicate between end user and end user and the server, whereas page blobs are small blocks of information just for more frequently accessed data. We have table storage, stores data as a key value pair in rows and no schema, and maximum table size is 10, 100 TB, and then maximum row size is 1 MB. So we discussed about this, that this is structured data. In tables, we can create a table, and then we can have rows and columns within the table. The people who already worked in database, they can easily understand, but people who has working experience have worked with Excel. Excel is also rows and tables. So whatever we can do in Excel, we can create tables here, but table is more structured in a sense that we can use it to store information like employee data, student data, and we will create a table and that will make it more clear. Queues are simply messages. So just the main purpose of queues is to store message and send message and then discard the message. So like a postal service, in real life, so postal service, what is the main purpose of a postal service? Postal service doesn't write letters to others. Postal service is to receive the letter and then process the letter, find where it needs to go to, and then forward the letter. So exactly the same thing as postal service in real life. Queues is exactly the same thing. Nothing but messages. It receives messages. So receives messages from who? In real life, we receive messages from people from different departments, and they send us messages. Mostly in postal service, normally is for bills. We only get bills within the postal service. A long time back, we used to get letters from our friends and relatives. Nowadays, not we don't even get the, that greeting cards or something. That is all gone. So currently, postal service is exactly like a queue because it's working for the government. Text receipts and then all types of letters. So that is postal service. The queue is exactly the same. Queue receives messages. The only difference is these messages are from all Azure services. So these messages will be from app services. These messages will be from web services. It will be from VMs. It will be from anywhere within the cloud, logic apps or containers, and then they are processed, and they are processed accordingly, whatever the logic app or whatever the script behind that is configured to. So I will create a queue and that will make it more clear. And and file share storage is SMB 2.1 share. So SMB, server message block, this SMB is basically it's a Microsoft protocol. So Microsoft uses this protocol to for all types of shares. So SMB 2.1, you don't need to remember the name, but just since file share is based on this protocol, this is Microsoft proprietary protocol. So Microsoft uses this to share to whenever a folder or a file is shared between two servers or two computers. So computer number one can be a server, it can be, and computer number two can be a VM. It can be, sorry, VM is also a server, or it can be a client machine. Whenever a folder or a file is shared among these, this is all done through SMB. So SMB is a server. SMB is a server message block. It's a protocol, and there is SMB 3. There is SMB 3.0 as well. But so both are supported. SMB 2.1 is supported. SMB 3.0 is supported. What is the sharing protocol in Linux? So in Linux, they have a sharing protocol called NSF, network file share, NFS. Sorry, it is NFS in Linux. In here in Microsoft, it is SMB. So if you're already aware of network file share on the Linux side, then this is exactly the same thing. This file share. So we also went through these building blocks here. So let me complete this diagram, then we can quickly review this information. So for storage account, for the storage account. Okay, so how many people do we have here? And we are missing quite a few. I think it's a Saturday evening, and probably people will be relying on the video. Okay, so so here we have storage account and storage account. So storage account starts for a storage account. You need to have for a storage account. You need to have Azure subscription. So once you have an Azure subscription, you have a storage. You can create a storage account. Once you have a storage account, once you have a storage account, you can take advantage of these 5 different services. We have Azure Container, we have Azure File, which is file share. This is container. Here we have tables, queues. We just discussed about container and queues, and we will see that in the lab as well. So just few things that we need to remember about these. The difference between a container and a file share interviews. They might ask you the difference between a container and a file share. So remember, both are storage locations, but one is just accessed through a link, and the other one can be accessed through a mounting drive. So the file share can be mounted on a VM, and we can use it, whereas container can only be used as a link, and we can see that once we are in the lab. Queues are just messages, moving messages from one place another. If you can remember it by example, this is just a postal service. This is just a postal service, and whatever you can remember about a postal service, that is basically messages. So messages are queued in the queue, and they are just sent wherever they need to be sent based on the script. Tables are just no SQL structured information. So this is the information is stored within the tables. Once I create a table, it will be much clearer. Archive and container are exactly the same thing. It's just that archive is cheaper and containers are more expensive. So this is for our production data, day-to-day data. Every day we use containers, and archive is for archiving information. Basically, that means that the old data that is not used for a longer time, you can move into archive. Now, can you make your own rules? So how frequently should data move from container to archive? It is our own rules. So I will show you within the lab that where is this option and how do we enable this. And then other than this, so this is internal to storage. So if you can remember these things, this is what the storage account is. Within the storage account also, when we create a VM, the OS disk and data disks are stored within the storage account. These locations are managed automatically. You won't find this location anywhere. I mean, you won't see the OS disk and data disks there. You can back them up, you can restore them, but this location is automatically managed. This is called a managed disk location. And here, when the VM is created, it is still in the storage account, number one. Number two, when the VM is backed up, that is backed up within the what is this location called? Anywhere on the chat, you can write the name of this location if you know. What is the name of this location?
It's called Vault.
Yes, excellent. Very good. This is the name of this location is Recovery Vault. So Recovery Vault is basically a place where when we take a backup, it is stored in the Recovery Vault, and it is stored from the Recovery Vault. So it is different from a storage account. Then we have these supporting services. So these are the 3 supporting services for storage account. Number 1 is Store Simple. It is SAN on the cloud. Which means that it is storage. It is equal to a storage location on the on premises. On premises, if this is the first time word you are hearing, maybe some of you might be hearing that for the first time. On premise, the word on premises is used for physical data center. So on your job place, in meetings, in discussions, if they refer to, have you worked on do you have any experience with on-prem? So on, it is also said on-prem, on premises. This refers to as physical data center of your company. So here, if you have any data that is sitting in data center, you can move it using Store Simple. And Store Simple is a continuous service. It's not that one time you connect it. No, it will be used all the time, and you will be charged monthly or hourly using Store Simple service. Secondly, Azure Site Recovery. What are the two things that are required for Azure Site Recovery? Uh, okay, what are the two functions of Azure Site Recovery?
Disaster recovery.
Yes. So one is DR, and the other one?
Migration.
Other one is migration. And Sayed is saying ARM. And thank you. Okay, I'm just looking at the chat now. Sorry. Okay. So Sayed is also asking a question, can a link be accessible over public internet? Yes, yes. Link is always accessed through a public, over a public internet container. Yes, so these links are public links. We can change them. We can make it private, but by default it is public. They can be accessed for containers. And Mahjabeen is saying it is DR, yes. And ARM is different. So ARM is a different service. But if you are referring to migration, yes, it is used for migration. So two things, always remember ASR is migration. Okay. Migration. And so ASR, we had a discussion, detailed discussion on this as well. Please remember the points, all the pointers that we discussed for ASR. And then we have Azure Data Box. So Azure Data Box, anyone wants to explain Azure Data Box from yesterday, whatever you remember from the last lecture?
Azure Data Box is this physical box which is supplied by Microsoft for us to transfer the data to their data centers.
Excellent, excellent, very good. So it's a data box. It is transferred. It transfers the huge big data from where from on premises. Where is that picture? I- Yes, here. So Azure Data Box, if you can take this picture, take a snapshot in your photo memory, that will be excellent. You will always remember it for interviews. So it's a data box that we request, and they send it to us. And then this is and this is for large data, like 100 TB, 200 TBs, like this. And this is a one-time upload to a cloud, and then it is done. The service is done. If you want to request that again, then you'll have to pay the charges again. Now, one thing to remember about okay, so that will be so I will discuss that in express route. Express route, I think I referred to express route in the last lecture as well. So two ways to upload data in the cloud. One is Azure Data Box, and second is Express Route to directly to internet. Express Route can be very expensive. Express Route is used for our day-to-day operations in the cloud. So Azure Data Box is that service, and then we can monitor the storage by using the simple monitor. So this Azure Monitor is basic monitoring. So this is basic monitoring, whereas log analytics is detailed monitoring. Other than that, we have CDN. CDN is a location that can let us that basically maintains the read and write speed for end users. So here bandwidth use Azure cost transactions. So this is, so here the transactions performed against the storage account, unexpected failures, authorization, authentications failures are not billed. Successful transactions and expected failure due to the transactions errors are billed. So two things to remember, that if there is any unexpected failure while you're connecting to the storage, it will not be billed, whereas all successful transactions will be billed. So if you have a storage account, it's like you have a USB drive. So whenever you're copying from your laptop to a USB drive, this is all built. So you copied one thing, it will be built. So there will be a charge. When you receive anything, it will be charged. So, I mean, this is just an example. But here in the cloud, when you have a storage account meaning you have a disk, and then you are connecting to this from your on premises or your office, and you're uploading and downloading files, so everything will be. But if there are any errors, you try to copy something and you got an error message, but the transaction is there, it will not be built. uh, Storage capacity, or the amount of persistent data, and these are the replication schemes. And these replication scheme is number one, LRS, ZRS, GRS, and RAGRS. So these are, I think this will be better explained. I found few pictures to better explain this. Um so right here, first of all, this picture, this shows us and this is basically in the notes as well. I will share these notes too. So blob storage, in the blob storage, we create container 1, container 2, container 3, container 4, and then we can copy files in them. So container is nothing but a storage space that we can access through a link. So 1 year back, container was called a blob, and now they decided to change it. I think 7-8 months back, it's not called a blob, it is called a container. And blob, actually, these are blobs for large files. So and here is the data redundancy, which is for so this is to provide the high availability so the first of all is LRS. LRS, it is
Can you zoom a little bit, brother Adnan?
sorry.
Can you zoom it a little bit? Sorry, this
Oh,
it looks very
okay.
small.
Oh, sure.
That's better. Yeah, thank you.
I know that it's a bit blur. I actually I found this very useful to understand LRS, so I just took the picture. So LRS is basically like this. You still have that blob storage or whatever, you're using a storage account. And if you use LRS for data redundancy or as a replication, then what happened, within the same data center, you will have 3 copies, 1 copy, second copy, and third copy. And this is done automatically in the background. They are in the same data center, but different location. But what they get is they get their own fault domain and update domain. Remember when we said that they will get their own, this is FD, sorry if it is not clear, this is called FD, fault domain, and their update domain. So fault domain and update domain, so all 3 copies are getting their own fault domain and update domain. And this is the cheapest way you can, I mean, this is not even charged. So this is Microsoft provides automatically. If 1 copy goes down, user won't be disconnected, they still have other copy. So what is ZRS? ZRS is the same storage account that you get, but here Microsoft will make sure that all the copies will get their own storage units. So which means that it can be 2 different data center, or even within the same data center, each of the copy will be backed by its own cooling system. So own cooling, own electricity, meaning own power, own cooling, and it will have, so it's a complete storage unit. Whereas the LRS, it will be within the same vicinity, maybe 3 different racks. But this will make sure if you go with this one is zone data redundancy. So this is so for the zone data redundancy, you will be given 3 different. Your copy will be sitting in 3 different location. Not only the fault domain, and you're protected by fault domain or update domain, you're also protected by hardware as well, any hardware failure. Then we have cross-regional replication to protect against the region-wide unavailability. Here again, the same storage account, but in this case, your other copy of the data will be in another region. So here, your copy is in US region, and the other copy may be in China region, or it's far away region. But in this case, you will have 6 copies of your data, 6 copies of your data, so across the region. But remember that this will be a very expensive option in that case. But it all goes back to how important the data is for your organization. So companies spend millions and millions of dollars just to protect the data. So this is the third option. So 3 options are there: LRS, LRS, ZRS, three complete different storage units. Whereas regions is 2 different regions in 2 different places, but 6 copies of the data. And the last one is read only. So read only GRS is exactly the same, but the second copy is not writable. So everything is copied from here, from US region to a China region, and it is sitting there. Now, one question is that, let's say if this complete region goes down, would there be any downtime for the users? So these users who are connected here, would they be automatically directed to this? No, they won't be automatically directed. It will be a manual intervention. So manually, you will have to request Microsoft, this regional access is corrupted or it's not accessible. So then they will take some time and the users will be redirected to the second region. So that's the only thing that we need to remember in this. So these are the 3 replication models to protect the data: LRS, ZRS, GRS, and RAGRS. Then we have site recovery. We have already discussed about site recovery, Azure Site Recovery, on-prem to cloud synchronization and failure, on-premises to on-premises synchronization and failover. So in these both cases, basically what this line is: on-premises to cloud synchronization. The word synchronization is very simple. Here we have a physical data center. This is my DC. I'm going to call this DC. Here I have some servers, and these servers, by using ASR, I can store them in the cloud in the form of images. So in the form of images. So this complete update of this server from data center to a cloud is known as synchronization. It is syncing all of the data to the image, and it makes sure that the copy is always updated. And so the 2 things that are mentioned here, it can on-prem to cloud or on-prem to on-prem as well. So ASR can be used to take an image of a server from data center to a cloud, and also it can do that from data center to another data center. So you can leverage this service to basically sync data in another data center as well. So it's not only for the cloud, it can be to another data center. So this is data center 1 and this is data center 2. So this is an excellent, I mean, it's an excellent service in that in regards to, because the same thing, the same type of luxury, I would call this a luxury, the same type of service, if you want to set up in your physical data center, it will cost you, number 1. Number 2, it is difficult to set up as well. It is difficult to set up. I mean, in virtualization, there is a live copies in Hyper-V and in ESXi, vSphere and all that, but you have to have that infrastructure. Whereas Microsoft provides ASR and to sync your all data from one data center to another for free. So this service is free, but the storage is paid. The service, so anyone can use the ASR service, but this syncing will be expensive. So once you create the storage, so the storage location will be charged. So which means that if you are using ASR and you are synchronizing between the server of data center 1 to data center 2, that will be free. So it's your own data center, maybe it's your clients or your partner's data center. So this service will be free. But one thing to remember that you must have a subscription in order to use ASR. Secondly, Azure Backup. So Azure Backup is a service that is used to cloud-based backup for on-premises, secure access to on-premises agents, and authentication is to the backup vault credentials. Basically, it's a Azure Backup service, which is VMs being backed up within the vault. So this is vault, and we use this service. So the service name is Azure Backup Service, and where the VMs are stored is known as the recovery vault. So these are the two things we need to remember. Number one, Azure Backup Service. Number two, recovery vault. And number three, what are you backing up? The VMs. Okay, so how to create a storage account? We created a storage account. We are going to create a storage account again today, and we will work with all of the labs for storage account. Specify a unique name, which is 3 to 24 characters, and then it contains only lowercase characters, and you can use the numbers as well. Choose redundancy level LRS, GRS, and RAGRS and GRS, and then it can generate primary or secondary access keys and blob queues. And I will show you how to work with these keys as well, primary and secondary keys. Then the second thing we need to remember is choose from two account types, so standard or premium. So standard type is basically access to the Azure storage service such as tables. So here, the quick thing to remember is that most of the time, we use standard storage account. We rarely use premium storage accounts. Premium storage account, it is required for application that require only block or append storage. But since these are all covered within standard storage account, we don't use premium service because this is more expensive, whereas in standard, everything is supported. You can create tables, queues, files, blobs, and everything is supported within the storage. So in real environment, you will see mostly standard account storage account type is used. We rarely use premium, but their premium is an option. Mostly it's for application for the log files. So you can, if you only have, if you're working with the log files and only log files, and so the application that requires only block or append blob, blob storage, a block or append blob storage, then we can use it. Mostly standard storage account is used. Performance tier cannot be changed once the storage account is created. So general purpose storage account has two performance tiers, standard and premium. Performance tier backed by magnetic tape and provide the low cost per GB, and they are best for applications that requires bulk storage and infrequently accessed data. Premium performance tier backed by solid state drives, solid state drive, and offer consistent and low latency. Guys, I'm just going through the slides here just to go over everything, and then we will be in the lab. We will be spending a lot of time in the lab here as well. So blob storage account only supports standard tier as well. So here is the same explanation. I will provide you these slides as well for your review. So LRS in more detail, ZRS in more detail, GRS. which is basically the same thing that I showed you in the pictures. So data replicated 3 times within the storage unit, which is hosted in the data center within the region. A write request returned successfully only when 3 replicas are created. Yes, this point is important. That we said that in LRS there will be 3 copies of the data. Okay, so let's say a user uploads a file. User uploads a file on in Azure. So it goes into Azure. So as soon as it reaches the Azure, the first copy will be stored in the storage account, and then it will create the second copy as well and the third copy, right? But let's say in creating first and second copy, the third copy it was not able to create, so this will not be considered as a successful transaction. It will error out because it was not able to create this third copy. So it will make sure a write request returns successfully only when 3 replicas are created. So it will at all time, it will make sure that the 3 copies of the same file is created. 3 replicas located in different fault and update domains. So we saw that in the picture that these 3 copies will have their own fault and update domain. This is very important for interviews to explain. We have zone redundant data replicated in different data centers within a region or 2 regions. So this will be in one data center. This will be in different data center within a region, or it is possible that it can be in 2 regions. So we said that this is only in 2 regions, secondary region, but here is saying that data replicated in different data centers within a region or 2 region. Why 2 regions? So the first priority for ZRS will be same region. So a copy that needs to go into 3 different storage units. So first copy in the same region, second copy in the same region. And let's say if for the third copy, it will make sure a different data center within the same region. But if there is no third data center available within the same region, then it will take this third copy in another region. So it will take it to the third region. So which means that it can be in the same region, 3 different data centers, or 2 copies in the same data center and third copy in another region.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Adnan, I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
No, please
But
ask a question.
when they switch, if there is no availability of stored space in second data and it goes to the third one, when it goes to third one, and when we have to access that, will it give us a ID, or how do we go by? How do we know that that went to the third data center, and this is how we have to access that?
Yes. So 2 questions. Number 1, how do we access it, and how do we know which data center and where is it? So this is all transparent. This is all
Thank you.
transparent. We won't be able to see that where these files are unless we request from Microsoft to show us where where is the location of the 3 copies. So this is all transparent to us. But so how Microsoft provides assurance is by providing us SLAs. So they will provide us an SLA with this SLA service level agreement saying that your data is available 99.99%, which means that in all cases, if whatever happens to one data center, the users won't be disconnected. So how would you know that if it is working, users shouldn't be disconnected? So, but in the portal, there is no place where you can find that which copies are sitting where. Okay, so but if you request Microsoft based on the tickets and based on they can provide reports that where are these copies are sitting. They just try to make it simpler for the users. You will get your SLA and you will get the guarantee that there are 3 copies available. Okay. So ZRS is only available in block, is available for block. Blobs replica cannot be read until the failover happens. Replica, yes. So the second thing is if one copy is fine and users are keep on using it, then the other copies are just sleeping. So which means other copies are not active. So if this copy goes down, then only that time the second copies will be activated. ZRS account cannot be converted later to LRS or GRS and vice versa. So once it is ZRS, you cannot convert that storage account to LRS or GRS. So proper planning needs to be done. GRS data gets replicated into secondary region that is hundreds of miles away from the primary region. When you can select primary region, second region will be determined automatically. And the data first. So guys, just go through this. This is the same information what we discussed. Use the photo memory as well. And in your free time during the week, just try sketching it. Just try making rough diagrams and all. Okay, so we will jump onto the portal, but let me see what else there is. So there is a detailed on containers. It is for unstructured, large amount of unstructured data. Every blob placed in the container security policies can be assigned to the container. And the link, yes, so here is the link. Before the link, the storage account can contain unlimited number of containers, which each container can contain unlimited number of blobs up to the limit of the account size, which is 500 TB. And then it can refers to this link. So this link is public link. Once we create it, we will check that out. In the container, there are three types of files can be stored: block blobs, append blobs, and page blobs. So here we can store three types of files. Block blobs are optimized for streaming or storing, which is a large file. So this is for videos, for music, for VHDs, very, very large files, and it is optimized for that. And append blob is similar to block blob, but optimized to append operations like logs. So I will show you where we can select this option. Once we create a blob inside the container, at that point it will offer us these options. Page blob is optimized for representing IIS disk and supporting random writes, and it is for virtual machine, network attached IIS and VHD stored on page blobs. So it is a paging file, it's a swap memory, so this is used for that purpose. Most of the time you will be working with blobs only. Even for the logs, it will be blobs most of the time. But yes, you have the option to change this option. Now, block blobs and append blobs is the same option nowadays, whereas page blobs is used for swap memory or the paging file. Block storage accounts support only block and append blobs. So, and this is the naming convention. How do you name it? I mean, small letters and all that. There are some requirements here. I mean, do we need to know these requirements? No, because whenever you make a mistake while naming a container, it will give you an error message and you can fix it right there. But these are from the documentation. Storage tiers, yes. So this is, we have in storage tiers, there are two storage tier: hot tier and cool tier. Optimized for storing data that is accessed frequently, and this is for infrequently accessed data. So cool, we know that cool is cool, meaning it's a place, it's a disk that is not used frequently. So which means at home, do we have some sort of disk that is not used frequently? Yes, USB drives. In normal life, we have so many USB drives sitting here and there, and we don't use them. We use them, but not that frequently. So that's an example of cool storage, whereas the other is an example of hot storage, which is our laptop drives. Every day we use our laptop, and the disk inside our laptop is a hot tier. We have something called custom domains within Azure. So custom domain is basically a place that can make this long name to a small meaningful name. Let's say when we create a container, this huge big name is provided to us to access that container. But if you want to change it to a meaningful name, let's say I want to change it to Pass Institute .com. So the container name will be here, storage.passinstitute.com. So I can use custom domain. So if you want to change this long big name to a smaller meaningful name for your department, for your and it makes sense to change it to a smaller meaningful name because in a large company, thousands of people are accessing the container for different reasons. And if excuse me, if they need, if ever, if they are frequently accessing it, yes, they can store the link and bookmark it and use it, but still it's a huge big name. If you want to change it to a small meaningful name, we can use custom domain. How do we do that? How do we do that? In that, you need to work with your domain registrar, meaning your domain registrars, because this will be your website. So this website name, I got it from, let's say, godaddy.com, or maybe any domain registrar. There are hundreds of domain registrar. So I think so yes, Mahjabin is giving an example. Netflix, okay, is it for this one? I think this is for, okay. So yeah, netflix.com, it's a small name, but in the background, it might be a huge, big names as well. So here, so how do you use custom name? So first, we need to log into our domain registrar, which is godaddy.com, or maybe netfirms.com, which is a Canadian website provider. In US, there are many domain providers as well. So once you go to their website, we need to create a CNAME. Now you can do it on your own, or maybe you can have it done through by a web developer. So web developer, they know all this. And so we can need to create a CNAME within this that refers to this link. So CNAME is basically a canonical name used in DNS. I mean, how many of you have ever worked with DNS, or how many of you know what CNAME is? If you know, just say yes.
Yes, I have worked on it.
Okay, okay, very good. So CNAME is basically CNAME is part of DNS. Okay, okay. So here, CNAME is part of DNS. So do we know what DNS is? DNS is name resolution service. It's very simple. So I'm gonna just quickly give you a quick understanding of, it's a name resolution service. And what is the main function of DNS is that it provides us name to IP to name translation, name to IP translation. So which basically means when we go to google.com, so google.com is basically a word. It's a domain name system. Yes, it's a domain name system. So when we go to google.com, this name is translated to IP address. Let's say the IP address is 172.68.42. And this IP address refers to the server where Gmail is. So now network doesn't understand names. Network doesn't understand name, but we as human understand names of the website. So step number one is, so what are we trying to understand? We're just trying to have a very simple understanding of DNS. Number one, user one goes to internet and goes to and type the website name google.com in Internet Explorer or Chrome. And so internet doesn't understand names. So what happens is, in between this name and the IP address, there is someone sitting called Mr. DNS. So Mr. DNS, what Mr. DNS does, Mr. DNS has a list of all the names and IP addresses. So DNS will convert this name to IP address, then the user will be able to connect. So number three is DNS will convert this name to IP address. And number four, the user will connect to google.com, and this is how you can see the website. So DNS is playing a huge big role within internet. If DNS today dies, there won't be any internet. There won't be any internet. So one more time, what are we trying to learn here? We are trying to learn custom domains. So the main function of custom domain is to have a small meaningful name for this huge big name of a container. And where is this name coming from? It is a name of a blob or a container. When we create a blob, I will show you in a moment that the name will be this long. If you want to change it to a smaller name, and in all of the companies, this is already done. So you don't have to do it, but you need to understand as well, where is the short name coming from? The short name used in the companies is a custom domain, and within the custom domain what happens is it is converted to this. And where do you convert it? We go to our domain registrar, and then we create a Cname that refers to this link, and then on the custom domain you also provide this name, and then it is so this is how it is connected. Now, if you don't know how to create a CNAME, this is not your responsibility as a cloud admin. So you don't need to worry about this. Most of the time, you would give your domain registrar a call, and you will ask them, I need to create a CNAME or a custom domain, and the instructions are on the portal as well. I will show you where it is. So if you don't know this part under CNAME, if you don't know this part, don't worry about this. This won't be your responsibility. This is your web team's responsibility, or the domain registrar, GoDaddy, and NetFirms, and these websites, they will be able to help you out with this as well. So the most important thing that we need to remember as a cloud admin is that custom domains exist, and we can change this huge big name to a short, meaningful name.
And not even architect doesn't need to be bothered about this.
Architects. So architect need to know about this as much as admin needs to know about this. But to implement this, you can always get the support of your domain registrar. So
even as an architect, I have to take a help of domain registrar.
As an architect, so there are two roles. There is Azure admin and there is Azure architect. So Azure admin is responsible for basically making sure that, short name is working fine. So you need to take this name and then you will use it. It is working fine. If it is not working fine, you will pick up the phone and you will call the domain registrar and ask them, I did the CNAME conversion, but it's not working. So that's the Azure admin. Azure Architect, on the other side, will design this in the beginning. So Azure Architect will look at this. A part of the design of this complete Azure cloud, he will recommend, change this name to a meaningful name. So that's what Azure Architect will do. Okay, so the important thing from this slide, number one, the important thing from this slide, we already know what is hot storage, and secondly, what is cool storage. So hot storage, in the real life example, our laptop drives, laptop disk. So just remember that. This says, because laptop disks are frequently used every day. And the cool tier is USB drives. So USB drive, we use it once and then we keep it somewhere. And there are USB drives. There are many, many USB drives that are sitting there. It is an example of cool storage, infrequently accessed data and frequently accessed data. Custom domain, short, meaningful name for a huge big container or blob name. CDN, we already know CDN is integrated with storage account with CDNs, and map Azure CDN content to custom domain, enable HTTPS on CDN domain. So yesterday we had a discussion on this as well. It's for CDNs, content delivery network are used for users that are far away from the source location. The content will be cached in their location so that they can access it. So this slide is another slide that you can read on your own. This is just a few more things that we need to remember about blobs: concurrent access, bandwidth, and operations per blob. So which means bandwidth is required 60 MB per second. In addition, single blob support 500 requests per second. So these are just for knowledge. So you can go through this. And file access. File access, this is the file share I discussed. Remember that this at the start of this lecture, we said that file storage provides the storage for application using SMB 2.1, SMB 3.0. So both are supported. What is the most important thing about this we need to remember? Number one, this is a protocol that Microsoft use to provide these file shares, right?
And
So
then
yes, please
this
go ahead.
protocol need to be configured on the server or on the workstation.
A very good question. Where do we configure this protocol? Answer is we will never have to configure this protocol. So this is a background service. As soon as I start using file storage, in the background, these protocols are used.
No, actually, in our environment, we have a Unix server, and there is a Samba from where we are accessing the files. And in the by default, there is SMB1 built in into Windows 10. That works actually, but it's always prompting us to go for SMB2 and SMB3. But then, it's a Unix old server. I don't think we can add this SMB2 or SMB3 on that.
Yes, yes, yes. So yes, uh, okay. So number one, Unix and Linux, they use a different protocol. Just like I said, they use NFS protocol for file shares. Okay, and
But
Microsoft uses
actually, it's a Samba, old concept of Unix where they used to create a Samba.
right, right, right. So, I mean, what do we need to know about this protocol? And why is it displayed on this slide? The only thing we need to know about this protocol, this is just for our knowledge. In interviews, they might ask that what is the protocol Microsoft uses for file shares? So your answer is SMB, SMB 2.1, SMB 3.0. That's it. Nobody will ask you how to configure it, where to find it, how to troubleshoot this. No, nothing is required. It is just that whatever the features of SMB 2.1 and 3.0 is all supported in file share. So in reality, we just need to know that this is a Microsoft protocol that works in the background to provide the file share. Uh, so what is a protocol basically? What is a protocol? Protocols are just set of instructions to complete a task. So set of instructions. So if I say when I create a file share in Azure, so I am a Azure admin, I go log into the portal and create a file share. So when I create a file share, which is this one, and then I mount it, connect it to a VM, right? So when I connect it to a VM, in between this complete read and write operations, Mr. SMB provides its services. So that's what the protocol is. So SMB will take care of how how everything here will be connected to the VM. So that's the thing we need to remember. So there is, I mean, you won't find it anywhere within the portal, or maybe you won't find it anywhere within the servers as well. So this is the backend service that helps complete the file share operation from server to a client. Now, file storage share is SMB file share. Azure, all directories and files must be created as a parent 5 TB upper limit on the file share. So the file share cannot be more than 5 TB in size. Directories, we can create directories, we can create files, and the URL format will be like this. So this is another example of custom domain. So here, instead of this long name, we can use a custom domain as well to have a small meaningful name. So then other ways to interact with the Azure storage. So how many ways do we need now know to interact with the storage account, storage service? So one way that we already know is the portal, Azure portal, which is, so storage account, we access it normally through Azure portal. What other ways are available to access the storage account, which is, so I'm going to write that portal. Number one, this we already know. Then there are REST APIs. So these are scripts, lots and lots of scripts which you can use to access the storage account. And these scripts are used by developers, by DevOps teams, where they write programs to access the storage, to store the images, videos, and all, and then retrieve them. We have Azure Client Library. This is also a collection of ready-made programs that can access the storage. We can also use Azure Storage Explorer, with which we can connect to the containers file share. And today we will be working on this. We can also use AZ copy. This is a AZ copy operation. This is a copy command which can be used to move data from on-prem to storage. So basically, this is a data center on-prem physics. So this is on-prem data center, and here let's say I have 10 GB of storage. I have 10
Will
GB
we
of
be doing
storage.
the labs for all these different ways to interact?
Um, for you, I mean, there is you won't find any labs. So especially for REST APIs and Azure Client, this is used by developers. So I mean, there are many scripts that are available. Maybe I can provide you. Maybe I will create a video to just show you how in action how this can be used. But this is not our task. This is not an Azure admin task that you need to write a REST APIs and how to use them. Okay, but I will try to give you a small video just for you to see that how does it work. But the most important thing here is Azure Explorer. Azure Explorer, yes, today we will work on Azure Explorer, and you will see that how convenient this is to work. AZ copy is not used every day, but this is used to move data from on-prem to a cloud. So this is like a one-time operation, or we are moving this to a storage account. So we have a storage account and we have a container, and we move data from here to here. It's just a copy command operation. I mean, in order to see this, you can also watch some quick YouTubes on this, just for your experience. Normally, you won't be asked, or you won't be asked any questions within the interview about these, and nobody will ask you to use these commands within the real environment as well, because these are used by developers for their programs. I mean, these are not even used day to day. These are used by developers for their programs for automation purposes. There is Azure CLI. Azure CLI, we can use Azure PowerShell, we can use an Azure Import Export. Import Export, this is now upgraded to Azure Data Box. So remember, Azure Data Box is that option. Before, the same thing it used to be called Azure Import and Export. Now this is called Azure Data Box. Remember Azure Data Box, that it's the box that is provided by Microsoft to copy data and then move the data inside Azure. So here is a bit more explanation of REST APIs. They offer programmatic access to the blob, queue, and table. So it's a programmatic access. Azure, or in the development environment, via a storage emulator. All storage services accessible via REST APIs, and storage service may be accessed through within the service running Azure. Client library is almost the same thing. Then we have Storage Explorer. I will
And
log
can we
into
have a
storage.
break, please?
Yes, please.
Can we have a break, please?
Break in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, we can.
Okay.
Okay. So we still have 10 more minutes and we will have a break. Okay. So, oops. Okay. So I'm going to lose all the whiteboard stuff that I did, or I can keep it. I'll take a snapshot and I'll put it in the notes. Okay. So guys, before going to a break, everyone, let's log into the portal. Let's log into a portal and then create one storage account. And after the break, we will work with all of these services. So yes, I can see the chat. We can have a quick break here. And Ajmal, thank you for joining in. And Shakil, okay, it's a file explorer. Yesterday we downloaded. Yes, okay. So right here, I'm going to create a storage account, everyone. Yes, you can. Atif is asking, can we use the one that we used yesterday? Yes, you can use the one that you used yesterday. But I would say if you're new to this portal, just delete and recreate. delete and recreate. So just for more and more practice, I'm going to create a new storage account, and the new storage account, I can create it using existing resource group. So guys, these things, since we did it yesterday, I think all of you should be able to do it on your own. So once it is done, you are able to create a storage account. Just type done in the chat window. We will go for a break in about 10 minutes. So first of all, I'm going to call this storage account uh, pass demo st 222. So just for I just called it the organization name, and the demo, it's the demo storage account. And so sta 222. uh, I'm going to use the location Canada Central. This is just wherever you want to create this account. By default, it will give you your default location. Performance tier is the one that once it is selected for storage account, you cannot change it. So just remember. So but in real life, most of the time we only use standard, we don't use premium storage tier. And then the account kind is storage v2. These two are old. These two are for backward compatibility. So everywhere in all places you will use storage v2. Now, why am I saying these two are backward compatibility? Because they were there right from the beginning. They are part of, I think in future they will be removed. Why? Because v2 offers all of the services that were offered in these two. So no need to worry about, no need to make no need to have go into huge big details. Why should I go for this or this? In real environment, we go with storage v2, v2 general purpose. So basically what that is, what type of data are you storing in this storage account? So would you be storing containers, queues, tables, blobs? And here it's saying if you go with this, this storage account can only be for blobs. But then if you create another storage account for containers and others, then it is more administration. So basically, just to keep it simple, Microsoft provided this for everything. So now in this type of v2 version, everything you can do. You can use it for all the 5 services. Replication, I'm going to go with locally LRS replication. And the hot tier or cool tier, you can go with any one of them. Hot tier more frequently, and cool tier is less frequently, infrequently. So I'm going to go with hot tier for this example. Go to networking. Within networking, there is so within networking, here we can select basically this is you can set it up here. This is kind of a security, network security. Let's say you want the storage account only to be accessed privately. So then here you can provide private endpoint, and here you can select public network where this account needs to be accessed. But if you say public endpoint all network, meaning there is no restrictions on the network. So you can access this storage account from anywhere, private, locally within the cloud, from on-prem, and then from anywhere else. So mostly we will keep it this, but you might think that so because of this is too open to the public. Guys, we protect these complete infrastructure with hardware firewalls, the Azure firewalls outside the storage account. So it's all protected from outside, but inside we keep it open within the cloud. So, and within networking, we'll go into more detail in the networking chapter, which is right after this. Data protection, next one is, I will show you what is a soft delete, how can we set up the soft delete option. So basically, these are different soft delete options. So soft delete is basically once you delete anything from the container, it will stay there for 7 days. Within 7 days, you can undelete it. But after 7 days, you cannot do anything permanently deleted. There is a soft delete option. If you use it, there will be charges for this soft delete option. In advanced, we have secure transfer, which is enabled. We have blob public access, which is enabled. We have minimum TLS, which is the secure link over. I mean, in transition, when the data is in transition. So it is version 1.2. It is enabled. Azure file shares, large file shares is disabled at the moment. Data lake, we are not using data lake at the moment. Data lake is for large big data analysis. Later we will be going into detail in another chapter. Tags are just tags. You can name it who this storage account belongs to. So we're not going to use tags at the moment and create the storage account. So how many of you have a storage account ready? So please type done in the chat window. Let's see how many people are actively working on the portal and how many people are non-actively working on the portal. And it gave me an error message. So validation. Okay, so what is this? I think this will be refers to specific error. Storage account name is already taken. So since it is basically public DNS, this name I cannot use, though I tried to make it unique by numbers, but I'll go back to basics here and I will fix the name to 88 or 6. So I have, how many people are done? Ajmal is said done and Asher said done, and containing, creating again, as I deleted yesterday. Shakil is saying, Maria is saying done. Human is saying yesterday done. Human, why are you not creating it today? Please create today again, just one more time. You know, this is the only time when you are doing, I mean, when everyone is doing a lab, I want you to do this again at home as well. I mean, at home, you're already at home. But I want you to do this later on as well. And Atif is saying add more numbers. Yes, very good. You're reading my mind. And then Asher is saying I used the same name, so it gave you an error message. If it gave you an error message, it's fine. Even if you use the same name and it is created, it's fine. But if it is giving you the error message, you can go back to basic tab and change it. Atif is saying done. Oh, Human is saying I'm at work. Human, are you at work? Okay, okay. No problem. You can do that on your later on. And okay, no, it is deployed. Asher is saying okay. And Shakil is saying, I'm going to break for a salah. Okay, that's fine. It was just another 2 minutes, but it's fine. We can, so before working on any further on this, let's take a 10 minutes break here, guys. Yes, so Asher is saying, so can we not have the same name even if we are a world apart? I'm in Sydney, you're in Toronto. Yes, we cannot. We cannot have the same name, not even in the same region, not even in the same data center, not even in the same cluster. It cannot. Why? Because it's a public DNS. It's a public DNS, meaning it's like google.com. So google.com can only be one. So this is why these all names are public and same name cannot be used for the storage. Okay. So excellent, everyone. Let's take a 10 minutes break here and then start right after the break. So Ajmal is asking a question. If I create Azure file share and map it to the Windows server, can I share it to my employees? Of course, yes. Yes, that is the main function of the file share. Yes, it can be done. It's just mounted as a drive. So yes, it can be shared. And by the way, we need to create a VM too. So whoever is available during the break, just create one VM as well. So we will create a VM. Actually, we need 3 VMs. So if or if some of you are already here and not gone from your desk, just create 3 VMs with 3 different names with a public IP address. Windows VM. So Ajmal is asking a question. 3 Windows VM? Yes, 3 Windows VM. We need to create 3 Windows VMs. So maybe I can type it here. Also remember to enable port 80 as well. So if you're looking at the screen, everyone, just create a Windows VM with port 80 and 3389. And rest is fine. You don't need to select anything else other than this. Welcome back after the break, everyone. Uh, okay, so just before the break, actually within the break, I requested everyone to create 3 VMs of Windows Server 2012 and with the port 3389 and port 80 enabled. So if you have not created the VM, just create the 3 VMs. And Mahjabeen is asking a question. So once we are done creating and practice, we also need to delete them. And so we let the resources to until for the trial time. And yes, okay, sorry. Since you joined yesterday in the lecture, right in the beginning, I shared these basic rules that whenever we are done with the lab, always delete on the same day. Always delete on the same day. You won't be charged for anything that is created less than 24 hours. So yes, since you just joined yesterday and whatever we created yesterday, you can delete them once you're finished with the lab. Um, and what happens is, so there are two things within Azure subscription. Number one is there are two things within Azure subscription. One is 30 days. So within 30 days, all the credits will expire. And number two is that there is a credit of 220, I think 250 or 100 or $200 that is provided to everyone. So which is basically shows us that how much credit we have. So the services we use, it will be charged against that free credit that is provided, or it will expire within 30 days. After that, it will be pay as you go. So whatever you use, you will pay for it. My experience with these services, so I have another account that is pay as you go. So I have another account. So this account is basically my MCT account, being a Microsoft certified trainer account. And I do get a credit of 120 every month for trainings. But even if you are pay as you go and you delete every day and you create and delete every day, you won't be charged anything. You won't be charged anything as long as you delete it and you created it and deleted within the same day. Let's say in few hours. Even if you leave it for maybe 24 hours, they might charge you for few cents. I mean, it might not be maybe $1 or $2 at the end of the month. But most of the time, even if you are pay as you go and you delete every day your resources, you don't have any resources that are sitting there for extended period of time, you won't be charged anything. So don't worry about if the if this expires. After that, you can move on to pay as you go. Okay. So guys, on the screen we have 3 VMs here. So I'm going to go back to in Azure portal. So guys, the more are you familiar with this portal, that will basically increase your chances to get into the job market, number one. And number two, the more and more and more and more you get paid at your work as well. So uh, uh, okay, so in a very simple sentence, the more expert you are with these services, so I think there are around 120 services within the cloud, and you don't need to be an expert of everything, but you need to be an expert of all the major stuff. And plus certification is must. Without certification, so guys, dumps are shared with you. Please go through the certification before the end of this training, because right after that we will start AWS training, and that has its own set of services that we need to learn. So guys, I'm going to go into storage account. So here I am in all resources. So what do you do when you're lost in this portal? What do you do when you're lost in this portal? Guys, this portal is not a boring portal when you have a lot of services sitting here. So I always start from home. So when you can go to home and you can start from here, and here you can see your account details. So here is your account details. And within go, if you go to my account, my Microsoft account, here it gives you more information about your account, your subscription, your credit card, and your available points, devices. There are a lot of information, but the important information that I wanted to show you is, since Majibin asked that question about the should we delete the services or not, you should be familiar with the cost of this. So if you search for the word cost within the search, type the word cost in the search window, and then you can enter. You can go into cost management. So this cost management, and here if you go to cost management, it gives you, so the billing account will give you the billing account for this. So my account is this, my subscription type is this, Microsoft Online Services. And the cost management will give you basically the cost here, the overall cost. So since this is a free subscription, and here there are a lot of things here. You can open cost analysis, create budget, and view recommendation from Microsoft about the use of this, about the use of all of the services within this. If I go to cost analysis at the moment, so it should give me a graph of how much is used at the moment. So you can also go to cost analysis. And so far, I have been charged for $1.39, and budget, I've set a budget of $10. So which means that at $10, it will send me an alert, and we can create an alert here as well. You can all go into cost management. So one more time, how do you go into cost management? Just in the search, you need to type cost, and then you can go into cost management. And when you're in the cost management, you can go to cost management. And within this, and by the way, here are the management groups as well. Here we can set up the management groups as well. So somebody asked in the beginning, we know where to create the resource groups. We know where to create. Remember that we have subscriptions. Under subscriptions, we have resource groups, and under resources, we have resources. But where are the management groups? So management groups are basically created right here within this. So we can create different management groups, and under management groups, we have subscriptions. So on the top, you can keep on creating management groups. I mean, this is good for very large companies that has sister companies, maybe two or three group of companies under one big company. So the example that I gave you, my last contract in Middle East, where they have one big huge company, and under that one company there were 7 or 8 universities under that company. So what we did, basically, we created one management group, and under management group we created a one subscription for each university. At the end of this training, if you are able to finish all of the labs, if you're able to take the exam as well, I am willing to share my Azure design that I did for a few different organizations in the past. So I'm willing to share. I mean, so that is, I mean, I will remove the, information, the company related information, for legal reason, but I can still share with you the design. Looking at those designs, you will get a lot of experience and confidence, but that is attached. This offer is actually for the people who are able to finish all of the labs. Guys, without doing the labs, understanding the concept doesn't mean anything in Azure. Trust me, you finish this training with all of the building blocks understanding and all that, and without practical, it's all gone within a month. Within a month's time, this will be all gone. So practical is the a key to give you, to keep it in in our brains for longer period of time. If you're stuck anywhere, just let me know. It's very simple, but all you need to do, I would say, for each lab, do it at least 5 times. Do it at least 5 times, and teach it to someone one time as well. If you can teach it to someone, you will remember it. Okay, Atif is saying all labs which are on YouTube. So at the moment, the labs that are on YouTube, number one, and this week I'm gonna make some more labs based on this, based on whatever we are doing. But but even if I'm not able to do the labs, create the videos, this session is all recorded too. So you can skip the lecture boring part, and then you can directly go into the switch. So the thing that I'm doing right now here, this is a lab too. Okay, and after that we will be exploring the storage group, but I will create the labs. I will create the labs. So, but the lab is the key. So, and here, cost management. So what are we going to do, guys? We are going to set an alert for us to be sent an email, so as whenever it reaches a certain budget limit. So I'm in the cost management, and in the real environment, as an Azure admin, you might not have access to this. As an Azure admin, this access is for the management. But as an Azure admin, they still expect someone to understand where is the costing, how do you see how much you are charged against what. And so I'm going into cost management, and within cost management, I'm going to go into cost analysis. And in the cost analysis, it's showing me that this much has been charged. So what is your actual cost in your on your screen? Everyone, just type what is the actual cost. Even if it is zero, just type in the chat window what do you see in the actual cost. Oh, Shakil, you have 31. Wow. Why is it 31? I mean, you forgot to uh, close down. 31 is unusual though. 31.
Probably I may have I kept the machine for a day or something like that. But then later on I realized, okay, I should delete immediately
Okay,
after.
okay, okay, sure. So Human is saying zero. Atif is saying, guys, why other people are not responding? Please respond. Uh, yes, I would. So Atif is saying 19. Wow, Atif just came to know, surprised. It's 19.55. Yes. So this is going out of your credit. And remember that this credit is given to all of us for 30 days. And this is actually the exercise. This is an exercise for you to, once your 30 days is expired, later on, we will be on pay as you go. So you will keep in mind that keep on checking the cost. Atif and Asher is saying 0.25. Very good. And Atif is saying mine is pay as you go. Wow, Atif. So that's 19.55. Are you using it for professionally, or it's just a test lab? Okay, Ajmal is saying 0.95, and Atif is saying, okay, it is, oh, okay, 2.53. Why is it 19.55? And what about Mehjabeen? What is your cost management screen saying? And Maria, what is your cost screen saying? Raza, Raza and Sayed? Uh, Okay, Maria is saying unavailable. So which means unavailable under the actual cost. It says unavailable and is saying zero. If it is saying unavailable, then it will be populated maybe later on. You can just keep on refreshing the screen. Riaz is saying I am Riaz. Okay, and I am Riaz. So I said yes, you are Riaz. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you just came from work. Okay, very good. So please log in. Please log in, everyone, to this portal. So what we need to do is, Asher is saying, so does it charge for storage account that you make but aren't storing anything? Yes, yes. Actually, it is charged against everything. If we go down on this cost, you look at this. Service name, virtual machine was charged for 0.89. Storage is charged for 0.44. Network is charged. So you can see everything here. You can see everything here. So actual is Maria is saying actual is 3.3, and forecast is fine. Forecast is unavailable, but actual, I'm looking for the actual one. So it was 0.3.
For me, actually, virtual machines is charged 19.39, probably because I always create premium hard disk. or whatever.
Yes, yes, yes. So premium is definitely charged, but since you left it for longer time, then it is, that's why the charge is more. Otherwise, if you just keep even a premium disk and you delete in few hours, it will go.
But
Won't
the
be.
other thing is, we have a $260 credit and which is going to expire in a month. So why not use it?
You're right, but remember the half of the 2 weeks are already gone. Remember, so you just have
Yeah.
2 more weeks.
Yeah. So 2 more weeks it'll expire if you don't use it.
Yeah, that is true. But as soon as you're on pay as you go, so and if you're in the same habit of taking that luxury, then you're gonna lose a lot after in pay as you go.
I know.
So
I
I
will
don't know what
control it
to.
now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, everyone. So here we have a cost calculator. So now let's go to a cost alert, and let's create an alert on this. As soon as the budget reaches, or as soon as the cost reaches $10, or maybe if you want to set it to $5, or maybe whatever limit you want to set it up to, you can set a budget on this. And it's so easy to do it now. In the beginning, when the first time they introduced it, we used to use scripts in order to do this, but now they made it, they realized that everyone needs to set up alerts on this. Before it was not this simple. So all we need to do, go to cost alert and then click on add. And when you click on add, you can create a budget for this. So it will be giving you which subscription is it for. So it is for your subscription here. And then you can name it. So I can name it, let's say a budget of $20. So budget of $20. So, and it is, I think space is not required. Space or so budget name must only contain alphanumeric underscore hyphens are not required. Okay. Okay. So $sign is not required. So budget of 20. Number one. Number two, it will be billing monthly and quarterly. So we'll go with monthly, and uh, and this is for the creation date. Expiration date is expiration date. So I'm gonna go with end of September and give you a budget amount threshold of uh, so this is 20. Sorry. So threshold is 10. So as soon as it reaches 10, it should send out an email. So Atif is saying that I've been charged for storage because I did not delete it yesterday. Yes, yes. If you haven't deleted yesterday, and you can go into the storage details, Atif, and you can find out that if it is you can click on the storage and you can get into more details as well. So
If you
here,
go back, there was a screen where it was grayed out. See this one. It says creation date, and in the end it says 19.
because you haven't selected anything here, so we are doing it starting today now. So the
Yeah.
budget is starting now, or if you want to do it in future, you're saying that this budget will start in October, then you can change it to, and then it will be further down. So since we are starting it now, so this is why you cannot change it. And
Still, it is grayed out. See.
yeah, still it is grayed out. So let me change it to quarterly. So okay, so now it is 1. So what is the date today? It's
5th
9.
of September.
Yes. So I don't know why this is grayed out. There must be some reason for this, but guys, we're just setting up the alert. So just set up an alert for now, and I'm gonna finish this for, let's say, October. Okay, and the important thing is this threshold. So as soon as it reaches $10, it should send you an email where, so we can go to the next screen here, and here you can set up the alert condition. Alert condition is 10% or maybe 50% of 50%. So the budget we set up is 20, and 50% will be $5. Okay, no, $5. So, okay, so the threshold is 10. So the 50% of 10 is 5. And the action group. So if you don't have an action group, we can create an action group here. So I'm going to select this action group. But if you don't have the action group, then we can use this email here. They just keep on changing this portal. These are basically a new settings for me as well. So I'm just setting up my email. So you can provide your email address. And whatever email address you use more frequently, I'm going to type that. If you don't have an action group, then you can manage action group right from here. Action group is just that instead of retyping the email address again and again, you can just create an action group. So I'm going to click here. And here this action group is just saying that send it to this email. You can create an action group right here. And then it will be part of, let's say, this and the group name and display, and then the notification type. So for example, this is an email action group. Display name is display name for this action group is cost management, or I'm just going to say just cost. Notification is by email. So you can send yourself an SMS as well, or you can send email, just a simple email. I'm going to select a simple email, and here the name of the email. So yes, it's on this side. We can select that email. So guys, as you can see, most of the settings are just very logical. You just keep on moving to the next step, and then you can basically complete this. If you don't want to create an action group, you can just use an email address in the previous screen. So here, I'm just going to use this. You can use SMS, you can use push notification, voice, but this is all charged. This will be all charged. Email is free. Email won't be charged, but rest of the options are charged. So here, enable common alert schema, and I'm just going to say, okay. And within this, the name of this is email. Email notification. Action is, so what we can do, so this is not mandatory on this screen. It is saying what action do you want to do if it reaches this budget. So based on the action, we can run automation runbook, we can run a function, we can run ITSM, we can run a logic app, you can run a web hook, which is basically a webhook. So these are all automation services that is required. I mean, if let's say the budget is too much, so you can run a script, you can write a script, and you can write maybe a workflow application saying that, okay, delete everything within the resource group, and delete everything within the resource group. That would just run it and then delete everything. So you can run that as well. But for now, we're not using this. We're just getting a notification, and the next one is tags, and we can create this. So action group is ready. Action group is only for setting up so that you don't have to type the email address again and again. Okay, so going back to cost management, actually I was creating a budget, where is the budget? So this one that I think I was working on this one. So $10 budget, and the email, actually, no, I have to recreate this. So if you're done creating an alert, please let me know in the chat window that if you're done. So here I'm going to say budget budget 20.
I'm getting an error message in the notification.
Okay, so if you're getting a notification on notification, you can share your screen and show me what is the error message. So do you see do you see what do you call a share button on your screen?
I'm going to the TeamViewer.
Sorry?
I'm running the team viewer.
You're running a
I'm,
team, TeamViewer, I need to enter a username and password, but we can use a share screen as well if you like.
I'm doing it on a different screen actually.
Oh, okay. So will you be able to fix the error on your own? Because maybe just maybe a logical thing that you just need to fix something, or you
No,
want me
it's
to
not.
see it?
Yeah, please see it.
Okay. So share with me your team viewer.
So ID is
Everyone else, please
349.
let me know if your alert is created.
User ID is 349.
Okay. Hold on. I'm just opening this, please. Uh, so, can you type it in the chat window, or you want to just let me know? What is it?
349
349
992.
992062.
Correct.
Okay, and
23.
just a second. I'm waiting for the passport screen.
Yeah.
So, what is the password?
23.
23
MHH
MHH
8.
8. MHH 8.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we're here. So here it's saying, yes. So it's getting you the error message because this is not the place for the email address. This is just the name. I mean, you can just type here the name. This is why I think, yeah. And then you already provided the email address?
No.
Okay, hold on. So let's go back here. And it's saying notification. This is fine. This is fine. And this one. So do you still have this resource group? Let's try changing this. Can we change this?
No, I think IT department, or maybe we have to create one maybe.
Oh, so you don't have that resource group.
Let's see, because I think
No.
what
Hold on.
already
So yeah, you saw that because the resource group already exists. You just need to use it, right? And let's see if it is letting you do it. No. And what is the reason? The reason, okay. So here, the name, please configure the notification. Okay, you didn't configure probably didn't configure. Yeah, you need to configure the notification as well. So here, please type the email address. Okay, excellent. Press OK and create.
Thank you very much.
Okay, excellent. Very good. You know, yeah,
Maybe
sometimes.
because I was busy creating, and maybe I missed that step where you have to edit and type the email address.
Okay, no problem. So here we are. So Atif is saying created. What about others? Please interact, everyone. Please interact, everyone. Please don't be distracted. Just let me know if the alert is created. I need to know if your alert is created, everyone. So here the amount is, sorry, the amount is, I'm gonna say 20, and next screen, I'm gonna set up 50%. On 50%, I need to get an alert email and alternate alert recipient. Here I can again provide the same, but okay, I will provide it. I don't know why I need to provide this again, but I will provide it and then create. So here, Atif is saying created, Ashar is saying finished budget and alert, excellent. I've created, but I don't see it anywhere. So it is here. You don't see it anywhere, meaning you don't see it in the screen, cost alert screen. So if we can refresh, sometime it might take a few minutes before it is shared. So, and Asher shared a screenshot. Riaz is saying I have some issue with the system. I don't want to disturb whole class. Hopefully after the call, I will help get help from Atif. Okay, very good, no problem. You have problem with your computer or the cloud? Yes, I don't see it. So Maria is saying she's not able to see the budget. It is here. It is here, but sometime it just takes. It just. It just takes some time for this to view here. So if it was created, Maria, if it was created without any error message, that is excellent. Okay, so now we have seen the cost here, guys. Let's jump back to the storage. So we are going to go into all resources. And just before the break, I requested everyone to create 3 VMs here. So I'm looking for my storage account. So this is the storage account. That is the storage account that we are working on. And this storage account, we can group it by, because there are so many resources here, we can normally group it by type. So group by type, group by location, group by kind. So here I'm gonna just go with group by type, and this will give us even better view of all these resources. Here we have a public IP. So the one that I'm looking for is storage group. So storage account. So this is the storage account that is here, and the storage account that I'll be working on the first one, which is the IT department storage account. So everyone go to IT department storage account. And once within the account, let's go through all these services here. So the first one is overview. So overview just gives us an overview of the storage account. This is storage V2 type, and it is a container. So guys, be ready, please. Everyone be ready to have your mic unmute and explain this. Explain any one of the points once I'm done with all of the points here. So please be attentive, everyone. So starting with the first one, I would, so once this is done, I may choose any one of you to just explain any one of the points. So maybe you can take notes as well, or whatever you know. This is not a test, but I want you to speak. I want you to basically explain in your own words as if you're explaining it to an interviewer. As if you are explaining it to an interviewer. So be ready to unmute your mic. There are many people who are not talking, I think maybe shy talking on the mic, but guys, we need to get out of our comfort zone. I mean, okay, so if I'm saying that too much, sorry about that. Human, you unmute your mic. What is your question? Okay, Human muted the mic. That's fine, Human. Then I will ask a question later on. Oh, Human is at work. Okay, I remember Human is at work. Okay, so first one, overview. Guys, what are we learning today? We need to learn, we need to become an expert of the storage account, and storage account with storage account is here overview. So resource group is this, and then status is primary and it's available. Location is Canada Central. Subscription is this. Subscription ID is this. Sometimes the ID is required for the subscription. You can get it from all of the overview, or you can go to the subscription and look at it as well. Guys, it is time now. It's the fourth day we are in this training, so we should be kind of feeling at home on this portal. So the more and more work we can do, so spare at least 8 hours within the next 5 days to work on this portal. So at least every lab you should be able to create VMs at least 5 times, delete them, create storage account 5 times and delete them, and container and file share and table and queues, and the rest of 1 hour, 1.5 hour we have. After this we will start the networking, so whatever we can do from the networking as well. Guys, do we need to do we want to become an expert in Azure cloud? Are we here to become an expert?
Of course, that's why we are here.
Right, so that is why we are here, and that is why we need to be in our high gears, guys. We in our high gears, and high gears means if you just sit quiet, sit back, and I know that people are asking a question. I really appreciate people are asking a question and getting replies back, but I'm not seeing any I'm not seeing like that a powerful response from everyone. And trust me, once the training is over, Azure is over. Azure is over until you get a job. So this is your chance to basically be a bit more on the what do you call, on the hyper side, learning Azure. And I would say every lab 5 times, every lab 5 times. So you might be thinking, oh, you know what, there is not too many labs. I just created a VM, I added a hard disk, and then there's a few very simple lab. Guys, it is going to get rough after this. Storage is simple. Networking, you will be creating hub and spoke networking architecture. And then in the hub and spoke networking architecture, there are security rules and all that. Let's try to be more and more, and it's not difficult. If it would have been difficult, I would have not been going into this huge big debate. It's very simple. The only key that is required is a repetition of practical labs. Okay, so going on point number one. Point number one is overview. Overview gives us all here, and basically it's about the storage account, and within this we have container, we have file shares, we have tables and queues. Under this, we have ways to access the storage account. We can access the storage account from Storage Explorer, from a PowerShell, from Azure CLI, from .NET, from Java, Python, and then a Node.js JavaScripts. Under this, it shows us basic monitoring of this. So show data for the account, show data for the container, show data for files, and we can change it to this. So whatever is being used, wherever it is being used, it gives us this basic monitoring on this screen. So, and then on this side, we have activity log. We have activity log, and activity log, you know, it's just like a log and a very, very detailed log. Here you can change it to the timestamp to maybe last 1 hour, whatever happened in the last 1 hour, maybe last week. We won't be able to get enough at the moment because we delete these storage, we create these storages every day. But here, yes, you can get a lot of information, and then you can use filters here as well, which events you're more interested in. So you might be interested only based on the resource type or action or command that you did. So if it is an action or command, then you can filter it by action or command here. But since this is a brand new, we don't see much activity here, but this is where you can find the activity log. Access control is all connected to Active Directory. So we can give access, we can provide access to the user, and they will be able to access it. We can assign roles for this. For example, for this storage account, let me go and try to click add and say role assignment. So if I go to a role assignment or add a co-administrator, in this, we will, by the way, we have a full chapter on Active Directory. We will go into more detail at that point. But here, I just wanted to show you that here we have these different type of roles here. So let's say I want somebody to manage this storage account. I want somebody to manage this storage account. If I want somebody to manage this storage account, basically there are many, many different roles. The three most important roles that we need to remember is owner, number one, number two, contributor, number three, reader. So these are the three most important roles here. So owner basically is the owner, that who created this storage account. So we are the owner, we created the storage account. Contributor is a person that is equal to owner, but contributor cannot do any security changes within the account. So contributor can can do everything what owner can do. Contributor can create containers and then can change containers, can work on tables, queues, and everything, but contributor cannot change any security. So contributor and owner are the same type of role, but owner has more privilege to assign more security, make new contributors, but contributor cannot make any security changes. Other than that, contributor is like an owner. Reader is just a reader. Other than this, there are all these other type of roles that is basically provided by default, default roles provided by Microsoft. Most of the time, we don't use it like a backup contributor, backup operator. In the companies, we make our own roles. we make our, because that is more flexible, that is more to monitor that. So the roles that we make, we know that what we selected here, these roles are good as well, but in companies it's just like local groups in the computer or in the server. So the three most important roles that we need to remember is owner, contributor, reader. So I'm going to select a contributor for this, and basically for the contributor role, or I can basically select a reader role. Let's say a reader role, just to see that if it will, it actually restrict me from making any changes. So, and here I'm going to select the username. So I have a few usernames here. So I'm going to select, for now, I am going to select, I have a lot of them here. And this is where I said that there is a full chapter on Active Directory. I cannot go into at the moment, because this will sidetrack us from our main focus on storage. So for now, I'm just going to select one of the users and then save. So I made one of the users responsible, basically, and where I can see that where this user has what type of access in the role assignment. So in add, we can add users and assign them role. And in the role assignment, we can see who are the people that has access to this. So for this one, I have my Gmail account as a guest has access. And here I have a Chris user that is created in Active Directory, who's a contributor account, so that I created earlier in another training. But for now, this is, so the two things from the IAM at the moment I want you to remember is that we can add people and we can see who has access to this. So in your case, I think you are the only one who has access, or maybe it's not even showing the owner, doesn't show the owner, but the owner is the person who created this. Then there are different roles as well. So these are the roles, and you can make your own role as well. So I have the owner role, contributor role, reader role. And if you want to create your own role, then basically here it will, you can start from maybe copying one role. Sorry, this is role assignment. And the role is, so role definition, there are role definitions here. And this one is add. Role assignment is the role assignment. It's not creating the role, and download the role assignments here. So roles will be made from Active Directory. So these roles will be made from Active Directory. We cannot create roles here. So tags is just tags. So I can say that this storage account belongs to let's say company. So let's say this is a group of companies, and this belongs to ABC company. So basically this is just a tag, name tag for this resource. And yes. And then we have diagnostic and solve problems. So this is, so okay, so I have to save this information first. So Atif is asking a question. Okay. Okay, since it was uh, okay, so it's the question is not relevant to the topic, but I'm struggling with adding an app to Azure SSO, even though I have a cloud application administrator. Okay, no problem, Atif. At the end of this lecture, we will talk about this. Okay. Okay. So this is yes, it was supposed to be a private message, since it is in the group. So I thought maybe it's a group message. It's fine, no problem. We can discuss that at the end of the lecture. So guys, here I've created a role. Next one is diagnostics, diagnose problems. Guys, as you can see, this is really simple. This is, I mean, it is simple, but once you explain it to someone, it becomes more simple. So here, diagnose and solve problems, people, based on the feedback that Microsoft receives, and based on that, you can say this is frequently asked questions and their resolutions, how people fixed it, and all that. And the next one is data transfer. Data transfer is a service from Microsoft to basically analyze how much data you have on premises is and how much do you want to transfer and how much Microsoft will charge for that data. So for example, resource type here, you can say storage account, transaction transfer scenario is move account to a new subscription or move account to a new resource group, move account to a new region, let's say new subscription here. And there it is giving you, so basically here we're not doing anything technical. Here we're not doing, so this is just for analysis. So search for among common Azure data transfer solutions. The solution is presented depending on the available network bandwidth in the environment. So let's say an storage account needed to be transferred to another subscription. How many ways you can transfer? I can transfer it to PowerShell, through CLI, through REST APIs, through the portal as well. And from the portal it gives you, so basically this is just for information. This is just for information, and they recently added it. They recently added it. It was not there before. Abdul is saying, do you have a spreadsheet or template to maintain the access control and role as per user? I want to handy for all of the users. Basically, do you have a spreadsheet or template to maintain the access and control? So in cloud, in my experience, we start with just the 3 roles. We start with basically the owner role, contributor role, and reader role. So most of the time, and then especially in cloud, we follow the principle of least privileges. Least privileges principle, that whoever requires an access, they will be given access, and then the access will be rechecked again and again. So there is no such thing as a template or a common ground where people can basically follow a template. Maybe there might be on the Microsoft website, but in my experience, all companies have their own security, what do you call, security requirements. Okay, so Ajmal asked the question, what is REST API? So REST APIs are programming interface. So API stands for Application Programming Interface, and there is some acronym for the REST as well. But REST APIs in general are used for to handling or managing HTTP requests. So meaning HTTP or anything to do with the websites, get, put, post, delete, and API website functions. So basically to automate, to basically it is more related to the DevOps side of the Azure, but you can use, so most of the time, let's say whatever you can do through PowerShell or CLI, the command line interfaces, you can make a complete program or a complete program or a script to automate that. So these are 4 different ways. So REST APIs are mostly the REST application programming interface. There are ready-made scripts available. Sayed is saying, I believe there is a module on RBAC. Yes, there is a module on Active Directory. So when I say will be a chapter on Active Directory, that includes RBAC, that includes all types of security, and we will discuss that as well. Abdul is saying, is admin is responsible for security? Yes, Azure admin is responsible for the security, the security as far as you don't have to you don't have to design the security. So which means Azure admin is responsible to assign some type of access to different users, different people based on their requirement. So Azure admin must have an idea of Active Directory and how to change permissions, what is role assignment, how to create roles and all that. Yes. Ajmal is asking a question. There is a 2-factor authentication. Where is that? So there is, Ajmal, the 2-factor authentic. Ajmal, why are you asking security questions in this? But I'm happy. I mean, I'm not. You're asking these questions. I mean, yes, we are on the security topic. Okay, that's fine. 2-factor authentication is in IMA. We can go into IMA, multi-factor authentication. Yes, we will go through this in more detail in Active Directory chapter. Yes. Ajmal is saying, yes, I think this is part of, this should be IMA. But remember, okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Just one comment here. Guys, this IMA is only for this one security account. Okay, this IMA doesn't refer to a complete cloud IMA, which is identity management. For everyone else, what is IMA? IMA is identity.
IAM.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm just saying and reading and writing. Okay, sorry about that. IAM, yes. Identity access management. IAM is identity access management. So at the moment we are only on the storage account. So this is why I'm just keeping the description or the discussion to focusing on the security account. Later on, yes, we have a full chapter on this. Okay, so don't worry about this. Guys, we have events. In the events, we have it's so within the events we have more detail. It is so in activity log we have in activity log we get more granular, everything is being logged. But in the events what we can do, we can create logic apps and Azure functions, utilize Azure functions, and we can, based on the event, we can take actions. So just like this diagram here, so all of the activities that are happening within the activity log will be sent to here within the logic app. From the logic app, we can take decision and we can make changes within the portal, within container services and all, and we can create that event. Later on, we will look into logic apps later on, but based on the so for now, this is the place where we can create an event subscription. So if you have ever exposed to event subscription in servers like server 2012, server 2019, based on one event, you can take an action. For example, if the disk is reaching 90%, you can use a function to basically maybe delete the temporary space within the disk and make it usable. So stuff like that. So this is that place. And now comes to a very important part that is known as Storage Explorer. So yesterday we downloaded Storage Explorer, and within Storage Explorer, what we can do, we can manage. So Atif is saying, are we going to discuss a bit more about the Azure Storage Explorer? You are reading my mind exactly. We are not, no, sorry, we are not going to discuss more about so this time you're wrong. We are doing practical with the Storage Explorer. So more than just discussion, we are doing practical because the Storage Explorer is a very important item here. So and it's not opening. So yesterday we downloaded Storage Explorer, and I'm going to open this. So if you have downloaded Storage Explorer, so it will look like something, and it's right here. So within this, Storage Explorer comes like this. So if you click on Storage Explorer, and it's a very simple utility. How many of you have downloaded this from yesterday? So
I did it.
okay, very good. And the rest of you, please download the utility, because this utility is going to give us the way to, I mean, so Ajmal, please download the utility if possible. And where do you download the utility? All you need to do is click on Storage Explorer, and then once it comes back, so I'll try to use another Explorer. So it should let me log into the Storage Explorer. Okay. So Storage Explorer is open in my other window on my other computer. So this is what Storage Explorer is. Guys, few of the services cannot be managed few of the services cannot be managed from the portal. Okay. So the services that cannot be managed from portal, they can be managed from Storage Explorer. So Storage Explorer is So I'm going to go into Storage Explorer in a moment, but let me first create few things that we can see in the Storage Explorer. So first of all, let's create a container. I'm going to create a container here. And the container that I'm going to create is a container that I am going to create is called, let's say, software. So this is a software container. It's too common. So I'm going to use a organization name and okay. So small, so pass software. And there are three types of access, guys. One is private, one is blob, and one is container. The thumb rule to remember, private is the most restrictive access. So nobody will be able to access this unless we explicitly provide access or grant access to someone, then we can go with private access, whereas blob and these are open access for everyone. So let's say this, for this one I'm going to say private access and create. And secondly, I will create a second container with, let's say the name is training videos. So this is training videos, the second one. And this time I will provide blob access to this.
This says lower case.
Yes, it just keeps on saying lowercase because we are all, you know, we are all used to typing in this. Okay, and we don't need encryption on this, and done. So we have, I have two containers here. So number one container and the second container. Now, in order to go into the containers, once I am in the container, I can upload I can upload files in this. And let's see here.
Sorry, Adnan, what type of access you gave for two different containers?
So what type of access? So first one is private, second one is blob.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, then here, so first one is private, second one is blob. And what we can do is from here, we have container properties. If I go to container properties here, and this is the link where we can access this container. So let's say if I try to access this, but before accessing it, what we can do, we can upload something in this. So before uploading anything, I'm looking for I'm looking for a file on this.
So, like just you mentioned that container is it's more like a file system, right? In the storage, is that correct?
Container is just you can think of a container as a website on the internet where you need to download something.
Okay.
Right. So here, let me upload something. So let's see, what can we upload? Not my credit card, not the Uber reports, not my contract. Okay, what do I need to do? Camtasia. There are some videos here that I can upload, or, you know, let me try to find something simpler. Okay, so let's upload this picture. So this picture is being uploaded, and here is the place. Here is the place, everyone, where. So Atif is asking a question: can we upload any file? Photo would work. Yes, any file can be uploaded. And Ajmal is asking a question: SFTP, your resume. Yes, SFTP, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I can upload my resume here as well. But you know, there is no use of uploading my resume on Azure. So here, guys, we have, so this is the place where I wanted to show you different types of files. So since it is a container, it's a blob. Here we can select block blob, page blob, or append blob. So this is where we select that what type of read and write performance we need from Azure. So let's say if we are in this container, if we are uploading larger files like video trainings, or maybe 300 MB, or maybe 400 MB, or maybe 1 GB files, then we can select block blobs. If I keep on selecting block blobs, then it will create a bigger block size. Now, and in a very simple understanding, what is this? So this is, if I can just try to explain it here. So this is a 4 MB block. Okay, so I have to see that what are the other options here. So we have a 4 MB block, and then we have 100 MB block, and then we have 64K block. So if I select page blob, okay, here it's saying it cannot be more than 512 in size. And if I select append block, so so here, the only thing we need to remember is this, guys. When it says 4 MB block, or when it says 64K block, it just means that what will be the packet size when it is moving data from one place to another. So if the packet size is 100 MB, then definitely the more bandwidth will be required. If the packet size is just 64 KB, the packet size is smaller, and it will be delivered in small blocks. So, and this will be much faster. But for a very large file, if we used a smaller block, then it will take longer time. If we use 4 MB or bigger blocks, so 100 MB is too much, but a 4 MB block is a bigger block, and it will be fast for large files. So that's the difference between these different type of blocks. So, but what is the bottom line? What is the thing that we need to keep in mind? The cost. The cost we need to keep in mind, that if you use block blobs, then it might be more costly as compared to append block or page blob. So page blob and append blobs are cheaper. Block blobs are more expensive. But if you're using page blobs, you cannot use larger files. So for that reason, we use block blobs for most of our transactions. Okay, so here, and this is advanced. So by default, if you don't change anything, it will be block blobs, and depending on the data, it will be charged. So this picture is, I think this is not taking much, but I will upload this. It's only 227 KB, and since it is a very small, it's just uploaded right here. And I'm going to upload the same picture on the other container as well. So the other container, I will go upload, select the same picture. So I have two containers, and so the reason why I uploaded, so for this one, I will go into properties and try to access this. So if I try to access this, so it gives me this error message. So this error message is basically saying that you don't have access to this. I mean, there is a lot written here, but this simply means that you don't have access, although we have a file in that. So I'm going to go to the next one. And hopefully we should be able to open this. So it's not opening. This XML does not appear to have any style information. Okay, why is that? Unlocked. It is unlocked and tagged. Metadata has nothing on this, and access. Okay, hold on. So what we can do is we can try to change the access policy on this. Actually, before changing the access policy, what I can do is try another one. Ashar is saying I didn't copy properly. Uh, Copy meaning, what do you mean? Copy, I uploaded it. Yes, container was created privately and, okay, hold on. So is it working for anyone? If you are looking at this. Oh yes, so here, oh, okay, so we need to select, I mean, in the blob, it's nothing, but directly the link, the file link. Yes, so it is working. It is working. It is working, so it should work here as well, because I was accessing the container, but I think if we access the file directly, because it's not a website, it's not an index file that can directly open itself. So I am going to go back here and go to Blob and open the file, copy. So this one is working too, and the third one, it will not work because it is restricted. So this is the test that we wanted to have. So the one with the private access. So this won't work, yes. So the one with the private access won't work, and the one with the blob and append access is open, but we can still restrict that access by using the IAM. Okay, so guys, since now we have a container, so the second thing that I wanted to create is a file share as well, so that we can manage that, or we can manage it uh, through the file explorer. So we're going to go back to the storage explorer. So right here we can see access keys. Access keys is a place which are used by mostly developers to access the storage through different programs. But access keys, if somebody has access to these access keys, they can have full access to the storage. Now there are two types of keys. One key pair is this, and the other key pair is this. What is the main function? Why do we need two types of keys? One key one is one of the keys will be always used. So it's like two keys for your house. Two keys for your house. You can use it for, exactly the same purpose. There is no other purpose for the two key for the house. One is with you. Maybe the other one is with your family. So that's the only thing. But in here, the main purpose of these keys are based on these keys, because every 6 months, the keys has to be rotated. So I will go here. When I click here, the key will be changed. So all of the other access. So when I rotate this key one, so all the other keys that are connected to key one will be disconnected. So they will be non-functional. So the two keys are provided. Then when we are rotating key one, we can use key two in that time, so that users won't get disconnection. I mean, this is to understand. It will be like this. So let's say I have a container. This is a container, and container has files or images. Now users are connected to this. So users are connected using key one, and key one needs to be rotated. Now rotated means the key will be changed, and if the key is changed without letting users know, the users will be disconnected, which in other words, it might not be just users, there might be websites that depend on this key. There might be websites that depend on this key, and as soon as you change the key, the websites will get error message. So instead of doing all that, when you are rotating this, what we do, we provide key 2 to and this is done maybe 6 months or 1 year, once in 6 months or 1 year, for the security purposes. And so we can use key 2, we can provide key to all the programmers, they will use key 2, and while we rotate key 1. That's the only purpose of key 1 and key 2. Otherwise they are both exactly the same. Now now how do we use this key? How do we use this key even if we are not a programmer? We can use this key as, so let me remove this so clear. So how do we use this key? We will use this key within the Storage Explorer. Now within the Storage Explorer, we can log in within the Storage Explorer. Within the storage, so where is the Storage Explorer? Within the Storage Explorer, there are two ways to log into the Storage Explorer. Number one is I can use my my MSP account, sorry, my Microsoft account, and I can log in. So one way is user, and the second way is the key. So if I have the key, so this is the second way I can log in, and here I can log into Azure by using the Active Directory, by using connection string, by using the keys and pairs and everything. So let's log in through the key. I mean, with the user account, we can log in. With user account, you just need your username and password, and then you can log in. But let's see the key in function. So, okay, so it crashed. So in order to log into storage account, I will use the connection string this of key 1. So all I need to do, once the storage account is sorry, Storage Explorer is open, what I can do, I can go to copy this connection string, and it is still opening. Once it opens, then we can use it. So I'll wait for this to open. In the meantime, we can go back to the storage account. So here we have the geo replication. So within the geo replication, this is where we can set up the GRS or RAGRS. So within this screen, you can, so it's really easy to do so. So for this, remember that we are in this storage account, and you're about to enable geo replication for this. For now, the replication is LRS, and if you go down, the LRS is only available within this account. Here it is available, and if you want to view all of them, okay, so storage account endpoints at the moment. Why am I not able to see all of the other regions? So geo replication is available for storage account update. Okay, yeah. So I need to update my replication first, and then I will be able to see different regions and different data centers. So in the previous portal, we used to see everything here. So we used to click on the region, and then the geo replication was enabled. But first I need to go down to the replication here in the replication object, and then I need to change it.
Isn't it
So
LRS
LRS,
locally? LRS is locally, and then how we can put it for the geo?
I can't hear you properly.
I said LRS is locally, right?
Yes, LRS locally. I first need to change it to geo, and then I will be able to change the geo.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So in the meantime, here is the storage account. Let's log in. So within the storage account, I am using the connection string that I copied. So I will go to the connection string and next, and here I will copy that connection string that I brought from the portal. So where did I brought this from? The portal, from the key access. And you can see that how powerful this connection string is, that whoever has an access to this key or connection string, they will be able to access the storage account. So for that reason, access in Azure cloud is very restrictive. So not everyone has access to everything. There will be very few people who will have very selective access within the cloud. So here I can see my storage account. So I have these storage account, the account that we are working on this, and here is the blob containers, and within blob containers and within storage account, Microsoft still calls it just a blob container, whereas on the portal they started calling it just a container. Atif is saying, please repeat last 45 seconds, which means what do you want to know from the last 45 second, Atif? You want to know where did I copied the string? So I copied it right from here. You can go to access key and you copy the connection string number 1, and then you can go onto the storage explorer, and here you click on this plug, which is so there are 2 ways to log in. You can log in by using your username and password, and you can also log in by this here. And here there are a number of ways you can log in. You can use your SAS key, or you can use your access key. So I use the connection string, and then I click next, and here I just copied the connection string and it will let me log in. So this is one thing. So once you're logged in here, you can have full access to your storage, because that's the access. Now, you might have a question, can we provide some restrictive access? Can we provide some restricted access to people, not the, no, and so that they have, so, okay. So, and yes, there is a way to provide restricted key access. So this key has full access to the storage account. In other words, this key has full access, the owner key, but we can create smaller key pairs. Smaller key pairs, let's say in a real life, you don't want to give access to the full house to anyone, but you want to give them an access to one room. So it is exactly the same thing. What we can do, we can go down here and create a shared access signature. Shared access signature is the same as access key, but this will give us, we can choose granular access. So we can, let's say, not table, not queue, not file. We want somebody to have just the blob or the container access, number 1. Number 2, we can also restrict them for not creating, adding list. We can just give them read access. And then here, and we can also set up the dates that their access starts this date and ends on this date, and the time zone is this. And you can also restrict them with the IP address as well, that only from a certain IP address they will be able to have access. And we can set up the protocol, and this will be based on Gen 1, and we can generate SAS key. So here I can say the IP address, let's say IP address is 10.10.10.10, and IP address. And here, so why is it not enabled? Generate SAS key. The current combination storage account kind performance is support routing. Okay. So I should ask the question, if you're logging into the same account across both Azure and Azure Storage, it syncs automatically. There is no need for the key. There is no, if it syncs automatically, then automatically there is no need for the key. Yes, it syncs automatically. Whatever we do in the storage account is basically being done in the portal as well. So, so but key is required the first time. So first time when you're connected, you require a key. And if you close Storage Explorer, then you still need a key. You need a key again. So here so we can generate a SAS key here. And why is it not being generated? Let's say a service. Yes, now. So I needed to select everything. And here I can generate a key. When key is generated, then based on that key, and here is the connection string. So now if I connect to the storage account with this connection string, people will have granular restricted access. So access key has a full access, SAS keys. So this is what is known as SAS key, shared access signature. SAS keys has granular access, and we can restrict people from using it. Usher is saying my Azure Storage Explorer automatically had access to all the containers without the key and without logging in. Did you log in? I think you logged in by using your username and password. If you're logged in, your user with your yes, without the key, yes. So there you go. So there are two ways to for the storage account. If you would have not logged in, then you wouldn't have any access. So yes, so since you logged in, that's why you have full access. Now, guys, another thing we need to know about storage account is that here you can see the blob containers, here you can see the software, and here you can see everything. And also we can add or upload, download, we can create more folders here, and so on. So you can basically manage everything. Actually, you can do more management than just the portal. You can copy, paste, clone, you can check the statistics, you can refresh here. And what happened? So here, and where is the new folder that I created? So, okay, I didn't named it. So this is work. Okay, so what's happening? I think it's just taking some time for creating this. So we'll wait for this. But important thing about Storage Explorer is that file shares, sorry, queues and tables are managed, especially tables are only managed from the storage account. Tables cannot be managed. Tables cannot be managed from the portal. In the portal, you can create a table, but in order to manage them, you still have to come here. And tables are something like this. Here you can query a table, you can create a table within this, and in the queues is the same thing. Queue is just the messages. So here you can see some messages from previously. Actually, this is just done right now. 122, 123, and these are the messages, and you can create your own message as well. So for example, if I want to create a message here, and you can identify type of message, type of string, you can use different properties. Let's say here I can type something and insert a message. I think I need to give no. So this has to be formatted as a property, but these are the messages that are created by Azure for the application. For example, here, this message is for something for the create container, basically when the container was created. And so here, this is the queue, and this is where the tables are. If I create a table, let's say, add property and total request. I'm just adding something to name. Which container is this? So delete this.
It says insufficient account permission. Probably you are logged in with that.
Sorry,
SAS.
can you speak a bit louder, please?
I I think you are logged in with SAS and maybe you have restricted permissions. That's why.
I think so. Maybe this is something wrong with the permissions here. But I was able to, oh yeah, I was not able to even create the container. Okay. So I will close this down, and I will go back to my access key. And you guys tried to create anything? So Atif is saying, would we be charged for the Storage Explorer? You're using, I am using SAS. Maybe I'm using SAS, yes. No, for Storage Explorer, there are no charges. This is just a Explorer that you can use to manage your storage. So, so everyone, this is, okay, so what I can do, this time I can log in. So yes, maybe it is due to the Storage Explorer. So Atif is saying 5 minutes break. And what is the time now? Okay. So yeah, so let's take a break in 2 minutes, 2 more minutes. Let me just log in and then we can take a quick break. So guys, other things within the storage account while this it is opening. So Storage Explorer is still opening. Somehow it takes a little bit time to open. So on the CDN, this is where we can set up the CDN endpoint locations. Remember that the cached location that where we can create, here we can add storage search within the storage search, add Azure storage search here, which means that if you want to add something to this data here, we can, if you want to utilize this search for this storage account, that we can use this storage add search actually. So here, and also here, this is the custom domains. So custom domains is the same thing where we can change this name, this complete name, to a very simple name. Now, in order to do this, here the instructions are here. Configure a custom domain for accessing a blob data in Azure storage account, which is, so this is just an example. There are two methods to create a custom domain. Create a Cname in your DNS provider. So basically DNS provider are your domain registrar. You need to go there, create a Cname. If you provide these instructions to your web developer, they will be able to do it as well. So guys, I got this error message in the storage account, and I think there is something wrong with the storage account. It's not with the permission, but it's basically an issue with the storage account. Otherwise, we should be able to manage this. I will try that one more time by adding my account here. So by logging in, so to Azure. So there is something wrong with this storage. Otherwise, it's really easy and it's gone, it's crashed. Okay, so we can try that another time. I will uninstall and reinstall storage account. Let's go for a 5 minutes break, everyone. Let's take a 5 minutes break and then we will continue after the break.
So Adnan, maybe in you are preparing those notes, right? Writing everything what we are doing.
Yes, I am preparing the notes as well. And so most of the things that we prepared, that we discussed is right here. So right, starting from here. So we started with basically, this is yesterday's review. And these are the whiteboards that we discussed. And here is the storage blob. We discussed hot, cold, and archive, file storage, queues, tables, performance tiers. Yes, most of it is here, and also attendance. So yes, most of people are available. There are a few new names here though. Yahya Ali. Yahya Ali, is this your first class in this training? Because I've not seen your name before. And who is Dell Latitude? So we are still in 5 minutes break. I'm using
The
another
only
computer.
thing is actually if you can mention, because I will be going through this lab again, because you know if I spend time on lab and I don't see you what you're doing, I miss something, because particularly for the first
Can
time
you,
I'm looking into it, right?
Shakil, can you repeat that closer to the mic? It's very important thing what you're saying.
See, you know, usually if I try to do the lab along with what you are doing, then I miss sometimes some things. So I think better, I mean, I just observe what you are doing, and then maybe
Okay,
if you
okay,
make a
that's
note,
fine.
and then I will do.
That is fine. But sometimes, you know, there are very small, there are small little tasks that we can just do on the side.
I understand, but in the especially in the storage account and all, there were so many things you were discussing, and in between it, when we went for break, I think you asked for preparing 3 virtual machines. I missed it, so I was just trying to prepare the 3 virtual machines
Okay,
also.
okay. No problem, however suits you. But sometimes, because I mean, it depends on student to student. But mostly, if I just keep on talking without the lab, uh, no, you're saying that you're not able to do the lab, you're just listening. Okay, so maybe
Yes.
sometime it is good for a change to maybe just do a quick lab thingy.
Uh,
Okay, Yahya is Usher. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's good. Okay. And that latitude is maybe a computer as well. Okay. So what is left in this? We need to discuss lifecycle management, file share, soft delete. Yes, very few things, and then we can basically start.
in the networking, we will be discussing something about Bashan.
Sorry.
In networking, we'll be discussing something about Bashan.
Yeah, Bashan is just a jump server. Bashan is nothing more than a jump server. We will discuss that in networking. Where have you heard this name?
No, because when we prepared the virtual machines and then we were having options to do RDP or Bashan, I tried to do that Bashan and I even looked onto the documentation. It was just not letting me select the subnet or whatever. I don't know. It didn't work.
No, no, no problem. Do you know the concept of jump host?
No.
Okay, no problem. So I will remind me in the networking lecture. So once we start networking, I will go over that as well.
Okay.
Please. I will remember it, but in case if I.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, last 30 seconds. Freshen up, everyone, and we will start. Okay, guys, let's start, everyone. So welcome back after the break. So a few more things that we need to discuss. There is cross origin. So this is cross origin resource sharing. This CORS. So this is known as cross origin resource sharing. It is required. It is only used when you have two different domains accessing this storage account. So if you have one, I mean, going with the definition, it is HTTP feature that enables web applications running under one domain to access resources in another domain. So in case there are two different organizations and they want to share resources in a storage account, then this is required. Otherwise, it is not required. In order to create it, you need to provide the allowed origins, and then you need to also provide what type of commands are allowed between the two storage account. Is it a get command? It is a post command? Is it a put command? So these are the commands. If you're a web developer, you are more you know web developer work with these commands all the time, get command and post command. So basically this is for web developers if they need to connect this storage account to their website from a different domain, not in this domain. Configuration will show you, configuration is the same configuration that we did in the beginning when we created the storage account. Remember that this is everything that we selected. So the only thing we cannot change is the performance tier. Otherwise, we can change all the other things. So if it is hot, we can make it cool. We can also change here replication. So remember that we were just talking about that where can we change the replication? We can change it right here to GRS. And then we can also change some other settings on this. Encryption is encryption in, most of you already know what encryption is. Encryption is basically, but for the people who are very new to this concept, encryption is to secure this storage account. So meaning that storage service encryption protects your data at rest, and Azure storage encrypts your data as it is written in the our data center, automatically decrypts this when you access it. And by default, data is stored. So encryption is already there. It is there, and but if you need extra advanced managed keys for this encryption, so here Microsoft is automatically saying for interview question is how do you protect the storage account data. So the answer to this is Microsoft automatically encrypt all of the data that is sitting in their data center. So the data is already encrypted, so there is nothing more needs to be done. But the problem here is that the data, when you access the data, it is, so in Microsoft Cloud, everything is encrypted, but once the data is in your machine or in your server, it is not encrypted. So you need to take care of, the companies encrypt the data on their own server, on their own client side, but in Microsoft, everything is encrypted. Then we have SaaS keys. SaaS key, we already know, and interviews, they might ask you about SaaS keys. SaaS keys are just a granular access to the resource. It's just a granular access to the resource. Here you can, we just try to provide that granular access. And within the firewall and network, this is how you access the storage account. I mean, if you want to restrict the storage account, let's say this storage account is being accessed from everywhere. And now I need to restrict it from maybe a different building. Let's say your office has 2 buildings. From one building, you want this storage account to be accessed, and in the other building, you don't want it to be accessed. So then you can select here what type of network you want to allow and what type of network are restricted to access this storage account. So basically, this is a security on the network level. But here, by default, everything in this storage account will be accessed from everywhere. And this point will be more clear once we finish the networking chapter. We have here, so I'm going to discard this, leave all network access here. And then we have private endpoint connections and private endpoint connection. Private endpoint connection, what is this, if I remember? Because guys, there are things that we don't use every day. Endpoint, okay, so endpoint connection. Yes, this is endpoint connection, is that where this data will be accessed from. Atif is saying VPN tunnels, private endpoint connectors. Yes, it is related to VPN tunnel, but here it is related to that which regions will be able to access this storage account. So if I go to a private endpoint connection, here I can select different regions as well. So by default, it is being accessed from its own region. But if you want it to be accessed from another region, then you can configure, then it can be configured as well from here. And advanced security. So advanced security is just enable advanced threat protection, and this is not free, which means that you need to upgrade your subscription. So in order to take advantage of this, it will be here, they're saying you're invited for a 30-day free trial. After the trial, you will be charged 0.02 per 10K transaction. So this is just more advanced security. You can also make a static website out of this as well. So from a container, if you want to make a static website, yeah, like a one-page website, it can be, you can create a website and then you can say, you can create an index file and you can just save it. So which means that as soon as the container opens by a link, this index file will work. And as a web developer, so all web developers know that index file is the one that automatically opens when the first time you open a website. So if you want to make this storage account and use it as a website, then this option is here as well. In the properties, this is again overall properties of this, what we see in the overview. So here we have keys for everything. So here we have storage account resource, blob service, and blob service. So these are all of the names of the of all of the, what do you call, the services inside the file share, the queue service. And this is the name that you can make it more simpler when you're accessing them, by using custom domains. But overall, this is exactly the same thing as what we see in the overview. So in the lock, we can add a lock name and read only. I think this is a lock, that lock can be used with a resource and subscription. So lock name, let's say this is software. So software, and we can edit this. Okay. So I think there is a place where we can use this lock, but I will check that out and I will let you know that where this lock can be used. Other than that, so we can, there is a lock. I mean, we can place a lock on the containers. I can go back. Let me quickly see that since we have a lock, we can use it on the container. If I go into this, and there is access policy, add a policy. Actually, policy is different. So we will discuss policies later on. I will check for the lock. You can export the complete template of this, a complete template of this complete storage account, including everything. It has everything. So for the development purposes, if they need to use this code elsewhere, you can download it and provide it to the team. In the container, it's the containers. We have custom domains to make the name simpler. We have data protection yes. So this is where you can do soft delete. So turn on soft delete for blobs, which basically what it does, it will soft delete enables you to recover blobs where previously marked for deletion, and including blobs for overwritten. So basically you can enable this, but you can do this setting. You can do this setting here in the soft delete. So if you're following the mouse on screen, it's on the soft delete. Here you can enable it. And in this, you can say, okay, for how many days you want to enable soft delete. So I want to enable it for, let's say, 17 days. So in 17 days, you can undelete that data. But remember that when you enable this, so here I'm going to save this as soft delete option. And okay, so I haven't enabled the soft delete, so I'm going to cancel this. So first I need to enable soft delete and save it. Turn on soft delete, which is 7 days, and save. So once it is saved, now I can go back and it is failed. So soft delete update setting is, there was an error processing. I think this is try in few minutes. So few moments, because I did some changes. We can come back and check that out. But soft delete is basically, so Sayed is saying, I think the logs are to prevent the deletion changes of resources. It can only be managed by admin. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sayed. So here, soft delete. Okay. Soft delete is when you basically want to keep the data. But one thing that we need to keep in mind, that let's say if you keep it for 7 days or 15 days or 14 days, if you keep a data for 7 days, deleted data for this much of time, it means that it can be a loss of, it can be costly as well. So something that needs to be deleted and you don't want to keep it, and you already took a backup of, there is no need to keep a soft delete for that type of data. You will be charged against this. And I'm talking about on a very, very large scale, maybe 1 or 2 files. If you have a very small storage account and it's fine, doesn't matter. But for a very large storage account where you have terabytes of data, and then data will be removed automatically by using logic apps and this and that. And if it stays there for 7 days, then it can be very costly for many organizations. So this is where with the planning and proper planning is required in order to enable soft delete in any organization. So, and then we have object replication. So object replication, when objects are replicated, enable blobs are copied. Uh, sync with the source storage account destination cross tenant replication. Okay, so there are some new options here. The storage account will be different in Azure regions. And this is not enabled. This is not enabled. This is required for the change feed feature is not registered with this subscription. Okay, so for this subscription update. So guys, what are the most common things that you will be doing day to day will be these here, access keys, geo replication is not used, even course is not used as well, configuration, SAS keys and access keys, and plus the properties. Sometimes you will work with the properties as well. And the container service custom domain is one-time change. There is not much in there. You will Azure CDN is organization's decisions to go for it. Yes, file shares you will be working on. Tables, you can create a table here but manage it through the storage account. Manage it through the storage account. Rest is monitoring. Basic monitoring is already applied here, which gives you basic blocks, basic information, availability, transaction. So far, this much of transactions are happening, and this, this affect the this affects the costs because the Microsoft charge per transaction. Other than that, we can set up alerts, and in the monitoring chapter, we will go into more detail how to set up alerts and how to go into more and more monitoring. So guys, this is a storage account. We will be working with the storage account as well. We will be working with the virtual machines at the same time. So any questions? So I'm keep on getting your questions. I'm happy that most of you are asking questions wherever you are stuck. I will share with you the labs for this during this week, maybe in about 2 days. In the meantime, you can just review the 2 videos for this lecture and for the last lecture. So we have around 35 minutes. So how is everyone doing?
Weekend, tired.
Tired. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, I understand. It's a long class here.
So, Adnan, so your suggestion that you did last week and yesterday, that give a gap in between 2 classes because there's so much information we have to digest. Taking 1 day would be a good suggestion because people like me, I'm not IT background, so I have to really, do like
Right. Yes, yes.
a lot of work.
Yes, so
So if you can
yes.
request other boys and girls, I don't know. I mean,
Okay. So what I can do is we can so first of all, we are all here to learn. Number one, it is our decision that we took to learn Azure, AWS, and GCP, all 3 of the training. So this is why it is 3-in-1 training. Number one. Number two is, yes, since it is well paying outside, so there is a lot of material that needs to be covered as well, right? So this is the second thing. In order to make it, since we have already decided that we will take the training, we will complete the course, what I can do is I can have a 1 day off, and then we can have the second class on Sunday evening. So one Friday evening and the other one is Sunday evening. At the moment, I have that slot available. So yes, if it is too much for within 2 days, consecutive days, then we can have that 1 day. But otherwise, guys, material is the same. I mean, maybe I'm going into a bit more detail here. Maybe we can concentrate more on. I try to concentrate more on everything that is required in the real market. But everything that I'm going through is very important too as well. Okay, so
I think I'm okay with both the options. It's okay.
Okay. So that's I mean, some of the people don't have time. Time meaning that they cannot avail Sunday evening. Sunday evening is not an option for some of the guys. So I will stop here for today's session. Uh, Yes. So yeah, few people are not available. So I'll stop here for today's session. Otherwise, I mean, I can continue and start the networking lecture as well. So but the easiest way to learn this, I mean, even if we extend it to maybe 2 hours every other day, and we extend this like 3 or 4 lectures a week, still the material will still be there. Still, we need to
I,
cover the same material, same
I
labs.
think that will be a great option. I think because if you give a 2 hours lecture, people will be having capabilities to absorb it more, and then if you keep on extending it, maybe they get tired after that.
Yes, unfortunately, the 2 hours of lecture luxury, I don't have a time slot for this. So the 2 days, I mean, it's from my side. The problem is that I cannot avail 4 days a week if we go 2 hours.
Hmm.
Okay.
Then what about 3 classes? Maybe 3 hours, maybe 3 hours for 3 classes.
I can avail, actually my calendar is all booked for I can avail 2 days only. So, and even the Sunday I have to move something, then I will do it, but Sunday is not an option. So guys, what I suggest is let's take these 5 days. I mean, it's 2 days a class. I know it's overwhelming, but at the same time, you have now 5 days available. In the 5 days, just review it 1 or 2 times and then you'll be all good. But if you don't review, trust me, it will become very difficult to remember all this. Just review it once and come and do the just the basic labs.
So I think today's topic was all about storage account. You got to go through all the options of the storage account, right?
Right.
Mm.
Right.
So,
Yes.
brother Adnan, like, I mean, if you may allow, like, I mean,
Yes.
what
Yes.
we
Please go ahead.
what we discussed earlier before start of the class, I think most of the people were not there at that time. Like, if there's a way you can put the items that we have covered in the shared folder, then we have 5 days. Whenever anyone has time, we can go open the document. We know on day first we covered all this, so we can do our own research. I mean, read through stuff. There's so much stuff online and on Microsoft website itself. We can go over that, and then also the video link that you have, and then more importantly, labs. Like, if we divide this into 3 sections for each day, then we have time to basically review all this for next 5 days.
Yes. 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 For sure. For sure. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share the slides. I'm gonna share the notes, and I'm gonna share the video, and then I'll also share the video lab as well. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Okay. So
Does anyone also, I mean, I don't know if it's just me or anyone else has issue playing the video from the Google Drive itself, because it's keep asking me to download instead of playing it from the browser itself, and the file is about like almost 300 MB. Is anyone
I
else
think
having that issue?
it's better to download it and then play it. Then there will be no breaking, because you'll be playing it locally.
I see. Okay.
okay.
All right.
Yes. So what I will do, yeah, from the Google Drive you can download and play, and otherwise it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
So Abdul is asking a question. Can you please quickly say what are the job responsibilities of everyday Azure? Okay, just a second. Yes, we actually, we have time, and let me share with you something that as a cloud admin. So overall responsibility of a Azure cloud admin is to basically work on the portal. So this is one thing. And what are the day-to-day responsibilities is to make sure that services are running all the time. The services are running. So basically, if I'm a Azure cloud admin, most of my time will be spent on this page, which is all resources. And then within all resources, as a cloud admin, sometimes you're working on VMs. So let's say if I go down here, and this is a VM here, and I can sort it by VMs. And in here, I have only two VMs, or maybe three VMs in this. But in the cloud, in organizations, you will be working with maybe 200 VMs, or maybe 2000 VMs. So this, and most of the time, so one part is the VMs management, and the other part is is file shares and containers management. Sometimes you need to change permissions, sometimes you need to allow access, restrict access. And the third part is a networking. Within networking, you might be working with a networking team to basically, for example, if I go to a networking here, this one, virtual network right here. So this is a networking switch. So here you have a networking switch here. Here you have the IP addresses that are being used. So sometimes you might want to go and change the subnet, add new subnets, change the firewall rules. So this is subnet used in this network, change the firewall rules and stuff like that. Sometimes you need to do peering between the two networks. So as an Azure admin, everything that you see here in the resources, you might get a, I mean, they might want you to work on this. So there are some things that are just once done, and there are some things that are day-to-day activities. Some things that are once done, maybe you don't need to create containers every day. So you just create it once. You don't change the region every day. You don't create storage account every day. You manage a storage account, but not every day you create a storage account and VMs and all that. For the VMs, if the VM is down, you need to make sure that it is up, and why is it down, if the disk is full, if you need to add more disk and stuff like that. So these are just the day-to-day responsibilities. Sayed Raza is saying that we are learning associate and architect. Yes, actually, so as an associate, this much of detail is not required that I am going into, but I wanted to give you more and more exposure to the architect level experience, or maybe at least you get a taste of what is in the architecture level. So I'm giving you example from both sides, so that at the end, when I give you that big picture, you should be able to understand that, you know, in a big picture, in a big organization, how does it look like in real? The networking, the storage, the VMs, the security, how does it all connect all together? As a Azure admin, this much of detail is not required. I mean, you need to know what is container, but you don't need to know the details inside of a container. And but you need to know how to change permissions and provide access to others. Okay, so before leaving, I wanted to share with you something. If I can. Okay, so this is everyone, if you're looking at the screen. So this type of email.
No, we don't see your screen.
I know, I'm just making it up.
Okay, okay.
I'm just, I'm just making, because this is an important email that I wanted to show you. And I'm just seeing that if I'm okay, that's fine. I can share this. So this type of email, I mean, I spent a lot of time in Canada, about 10 years. I worked for IBM. I worked for many different companies as a contractor. And now here I'm in Australia. So in Canada, the contracts are like per hour. Most of the contracts are per hour. In here in Australia, it's mostly daily
10 minutes.
rate. So these type of emails as a cloud admin, when your CV is in the right place, when your resume is properly drafted and you have everything inside, then you automatically get this from recruiter. So this I got just yesterday, I think 4th September. This is 2 days back. And every week I get, I mean, if okay, so if not every week, this is a recession time. Is the market is a bit cold at the moment. But even in these times, I get these type of email, and this is purely an Azure migration engineer. And what are the responsibility? And you can see this is, I mean, this is a minimum rate. This is average. This is just average. Mostly, if you're an experienced architect, it is anywhere from 700 to 800 per day, which is $100 an hour. And so what are the responsibilities required in this? Yes, you need to have the exposure of migration on this, but you will get that experience with time. So here, experience managing end-to-end implementation of Azure Foundation services, workload migration, strong knowledge handling, data center migration and operation. Here they are also talking about implementation of cloud PaaS services, which is SQL and app services. Here they're talking about end-to-end implementation of VNet subnetting. This is the chapter that we will be learning. We were supposed to learn now, but since we are tired, we can continue networking in the next. And here, availability of disaster recovery, ASR, Azure Backup, Azure Monitor, Azure Automation Policy. So most of the time when they write these job description, they write a lot of things here. So the basic rule is that if you know 50% of this, 50% of this, then we apply for this job. But what happens is that if recruiters are contacting you, then definitely they are really serious. So this one is a 6 months contract. This is from Wipro, which everyone knows that Wipro is a huge big company, and they are paying like, and this is a third contract. This is a third person. This company is a contractor to Wipro, and Wipro has a client, another client. So which means Wipro might be getting $1,000 for this, and this company will be getting around $700, and they are paying someone, whoever will be on this job, almost $550 daily. So this is kind of, so this is where we want to be. This is where we want to be. I know that these companies pay less, and this is why I'm saying this is just a very average salary. I mean, this is not a high-fi. This is on a very low scale. So I haven't. I mean, I'm already in a contract, but I'm just showing it to you that this is how people will be reaching out to you once you become really an expert. So there is a value in this. There is a value in this, what you are learning. So just try to review everything. The key is, again, a review of the concepts on your fingertips, number one. And we spend a lot of time here in 4 hours repeating, repetition, but you still need to go through this, and also the lab. So every lab 5 times.
Are we responsible for suggesting the cost analysis also for the customer? Like, you go for this and you will be charged this much for the hosting this many VMs.
The first thing is, then when we go into projects like these, these projects are team. So there is a team. You won't be alone. Number one, you won't be alone there. There is a team that is working, and the cost is specially handled by architects. So cost is not an Azure admin responsibility. So if you start now as an admin, and in few years, maybe 1 or 2 years, with your certification, you can easily start as an architect. An architect basically decide about the cost, reports, finances, keep an eye on resources, and they will keep on directing Azure admin to do this and that, and so stuff like that.
So Adnan, this is Atif. So about my question about the SSO, what do you think would be the case? Because like I got that permissions, the role-based access for application administrator, like cloud application administrator and the application administrator. But then still when I go there, to add the application to SSO, the add button is grayed out. So I don't know like how can I go around that, because I'm not gonna get the global admin anyways, you know.
Okay. So you're talking about your work, right? This is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
work example.
yeah.
Okay. And which SSO technology are they using? Which is
Either
it?
yeah. Right now, like we are moving from EasyCube, that's a like third party company. So we are moving all the application from EasyCube to the Azure SSO with
Okay.
multi-factor authentication.
Yes,
So
yes.
I was able to register the app into the Azure SSO. You know, like you go there in the Azure Active Directory and you get the app registered there. You know, give the callback URL and then the access URL and everything is there. When I go to add the app to make it like you know get into the SSO, right? But that button, add button, you see on your screen on the left side is a button here, right?
Yes, yes, I can see that.
So if you can like just go to the Azure Active Directory. Um,
Okay. Okay. So before going there, everyone, this is it for tonight. And Atif, I will keep. I mean, we will continue our
okay,
discussion so that we can just let
okay,
everyone else go. Maybe everyone is start. So guys, next week we will start chapter for networking. It's a very important chapter, and I will share with you all of the information as well. So if you have any questions at all, so homework at the moment is all the previous lab review of the two videos and all the concepts, and in 2 days I will be sharing the storage labs as well. So once I share the storage lab, just go through the labs 2 or 3 at least, okay, if not 5 times, 4 times. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and I will see you next week. So we will continue with the same schedule, no changes in the schedule. So 2 days are overwhelming, but we have 5 days we can review, and this will all pay off,
And,
inshallah.
and, and then, but then you will also share the document with what we have each day,
Yes,
what we have
yes.
covered.
So,
Okay,
so this video, since this video is 4 hours, it takes around 2 or 3 hours to download and process and then upload.
of course.
So
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
upload it though.
Yeah, even I mean I'm willing to like offer some help. Like even if you just put like raw file of what we have covered, I can put them into like I can structure the document if needed. Like
Okay.
in
Okay.
different
Very good.
modules.
So
Yeah.
I will share all of the what I have, and then maybe if you can refine it, then you can provide it to everyone as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll just edit the same document, inshallah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Okay. And Atif, let me stop this. Can I or
I
do you
can
have
share
team
my
viewer,
screen.
Atif?
I can share my screen.
You can share your screen. Can you share it from Zoom?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mm, you can see that.
Hmm.
All right. So what's happening here? Where's my? So here you see, like I go here and I go to a new application, and then I can
But
find.
hold on. I'm not able to see your screen.
Oh, you can see it.
No. Did it ask you to share and then you shared it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let me. Okay, I just stopped sharing it. Let me do it again.
So are you able to see my screen as well?
Yeah, right now I can see your screen.
So it means that your screen is not shared. So,
Yeah, I
and
stopped. I'm gonna do it again.
so hold
So you
on.
see now?
No.
Mm.
Let me see if I can make you a host and,
Oh yeah, that might be yeah.
okay. So
That would,
now you're the host and now you can try sharing again.
okay, yeah, it should work now. Yeah, you can see that.
Uh,
Hold on, maybe
Still not.
now still not.
I can just see my screen.
Strange.
Okay, now I can see your screen.
Yeah, you can see that, right? Okay.
Okay, I
So
had to
this-
stop sharing mine, so now I can see.
Okay. All right. So maybe that's the reason. So here we are. So this is like all the way from Azure Active Directory Enterprise application, right? So when I click here, I can go to this screen, right? And I can, let me see. So I can add it from here, right? It's like piece of cake, right? And then once I'm signed in, so I can get the SAML information from the, my portal, which we have admin access to this security awareness training. But when I do it in my office, like
Hold on. Atif, do you have 2 monitors?
yeah, 2.
So I think your one monitor is shown, the other monitor is not, where you're working is not. I cannot see that.
Can you see that?
The one where you have sticky note, I can see that, but I don't. Yeah, I can see that now.
No, okay. So I think there was a different screen. So, all right. So, so like for example, this application, right? So when I go there,
You can
this is
close this
my
window, the other window. You can close the where the enterprise application is.
this one
Yeah,
here, right?
so that we can see the full screen. Okay, so this is your default directory.
Yeah, this is my default directory. I'm gonna go here. So from here I go add application, I suppose.
Right.
Oh, so this is like, for example, like this is the one I wanted to add, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here everything is good. I click add, I'm able to add it, but in my office, this add button there, this one is grayed out, even though I got the access as a app.
So definitely it's the access issue. It is access issue.
Right?
Somewhere it is blocked.
Can I
Cause
interfere? Can I interfere?
Yeah, please.
I think
Yeah,
this seems to be a firewall issue in your office, because if you are able to do something on the same portal from your home and you're not able to do it from your office, that could be a firewall issue, something it is blocking.
No. This is my personal account. I'm talking about my office account. So
Okay.
this is, yeah, because here I'm a global admin, right? So I can do whatever.
Oh, you cannot log into your office account from here?
No. Yeah, I can. I on my office laptop we use VPN. Azure VPN we connect. And we can do whatever we can to do, right? Only thing is like this thing over there, this new application tab is, so it, that's what I wanted to confirm. So you use
it's in my view, it's definitely some restrictive permissions. It's some restrictive permission. Because of that, you're not able to open this.
Yeah. All right. That's why I wanted to confirm.
Yeah. So maybe if you have another admin, maybe ask them to try it just to see that if they are able to see.
Yeah, they are able to. The global admin is able to do it.
Okay. So then they need to provide you access for this. Then you'll be able to do it.
All right. Okay. That's it. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're most welcome, everyone, and we'll see all of you next time. Can you give me the host again? Just click in front of my name so that I can download the recording.
Sure.
So where the more is, and okay, that's good. That is good. Okay.
Okay. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
inshallah. See you guys next week.
Inshallah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Adnan.
Thank you.